Warning. The following presentation may contain excessive alcohol consumption, obscene language, controversial opinions, heavy metal, and actual wrestling chat. As such, it has been rated M for metal.
Welcome to the Mosh Pit. Welcome along to the latest edition of Mickey's Mosh Pit. As usual, I'm your host, the heavy metal hooligan, Mickey Vago. Now, if you're watching or listening to this on the week of release, then this upcoming Saturday, it is the return of Wrestlezone. The first show in over a year and a half. It is Halloween Hijinks. The show is now a complete sellout. There are no tickets left to be had. So if you had been leaving it until the last minute to get tickets, then I'm afraid you're out of luck. For those lucky enough to have bag tickets, you're in for a massive night of wrestling. It's going to be great. It's going to be wild. I think all the matches have been announced at this point, barring the pre-show match. As I've said before, it's myself, Caleb Valhalla, and Zach Dynamite in the Halloween Brawl, which I'm sure is going to get out of hand very, very quickly. But yeah, it's just going to be great getting back wrestling in front of a crowd again after almost 20 months at this point. So like I said, it's going to be a massive night. We just can't wait to get back to it. As far as the Mosh Pit's concerned, following this episode, we've got another heavy metal mixer coming up. As I mentioned before, it is the one that got very, very messy. So, yeah, that one's going to be a bit mad. And then following that, we've got the final run of shows up until the end of the year, the 4 or 5 episodes, whatever it is, that I still need to sort out guests for. So there is still a handful of wrestling guys I haven't spoken to yet. So if there is anyone in particular who wants to jump on, get in touch, we can sort something out. If not, you'll be getting chased up over the next couple of weeks to get on. We might even get an import on, but that'll be up to me to sort that out at some point. As far as today's episode, we're embracing the chaos with Mr. P. Chaos is very much the order of the episode. We were all over the place. Parenting, wrestling, the Battlebowl, 80s rock bands. Just the usual. We were all over the place. So without spoiling anything, we'll just fire straight in. So here it is. It's Mr. P. So welcome to the latest edition of Mickey's Mosh Pit. Today, as you can see, we're embracing the chaos. It's one of the wildest characters that Wrestlezone have. It's Mr. P.
How you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, good, man. So, like, as we record this, we're pretty much out of lockdown. We're pretty much getting back to normal. But Fibby, yourself, what have you been up to through the whole thing?
The whole thing. I apologise as well if I'm not shouting and screaming and talking loud. It's just because the wee one's upstairs trying to sleep. Aye. And he'll be fine. It's the wife. Come down here. Fucking stop making noise. So I've got to be aware of that. And I'm just realising as well, Vago, look, like I just look like Uncle Fester right now. We were talking about, we could tell the listeners, of course, we were talking about the lighting. It's difficult being bald.
It's because the scenes.
The light is, there's 3 lights up here. It's bloody Stuart Milne. And it's just shining down. So your eyes are just looking at this reflection. I don't want to put my hood up. So I just look like Uncle Fester. It's like you're interviewing Uncle Fester from the Addams Family.
That's like, I did one with Billy the other week. And he's like, I've got this ring light.
Yeah, I've got that's just I've just got the big light in the living room. This is the setup I've got.
Yeah, that's it. Asda, they sell that ring light, and because you see it on the news, and people that wear glasses, you just see the reflection of the ring light.
Aye,
and I mean that's what the kids have these days. It's what kids do, isn't it?
There's one upstairs. The wife's going. She's
good for makeup.
That's what she's got it for.
Well, it will be. Yeah. Good for makeup.
Because she's stopping now, but she does Avon just now, and she used to do a lot of some videos with putting on like makeup and whatever. So that's what she used it for. Yeah, so I've just remembered about that. I could have done these a lot more professional lighting, but we fucked it now.
So next week, ladies and gentlemen, Vega would be fully lit up with the diagrams and with the dogs in the background. I think that's a dog in your background. But no, so I might actually just take this off for now, just because I don't want to look like Uncle Fester for the whole thing. Because when people click to the next bit, it's like, who's this? What's he saying? They don't want the intro. They just want show the middle bit. Speak about X-Pac. Speak about a ladder match, and they'll find it. So hold on, fans.
Right, bear with us. Well, the Divas have a wee costume change.
Each our heart, Caleb Valhalla. So you take a top off. There we go. So now I'll look a little bit. And here's the other thing: when you're bald, when you have hair, you obviously do it. But me, I have to do my eyebrows. Like that. That's the only thing I do. Anyway, so sorry, we're drinking. I just thought to show you.
Yeah, we are.
I went
it's a Friday night.
It is a Friday night, and so because I know you guys drink on this show.
Yeah.
So I just open the fridge, see what I've got, and it literally is just American IPA. I know it's backwards right now because of the video, but it's not got a name. It's just American IPA.
Oh.
People, when you do stuff for people, they give you gifts and it's beer.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not a huge beer drinker. So they got this sort of variety pack, but it looked really cool. So here's to you, Vigo.
Yeah.
Here's to the show.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, man. Thank you. It's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Actually not. So people are going to say, "What did you have to drink?" Vigo show. I said, "Oh, an American IPA." yeah. But what did you drink? What was the name of it? Well, it's an American IPA. That's my problem here. So it's good though. It's good.
Yeah.
But no, lockdown's been lockdown happened, and then we had the first break, didn't we? It was like this time last year, and that's when I remember last seeing you.
Aye.
When we did a few training sessions because that was allowed.
Aye, we were back for a month or 2 months or whatever it was, and then
yeah, that's it. And then the big lockdown in January, and I just saw you 2 days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
As
we record this, it was 2 days ago. Yeah,
that's right. So yeah, good seeing you. And
back to Wednesdays because you've turned your back on Wednesdays.
That's right, because we're training. I just because coming out of lockdown, what days can you train? Because you can only train once a week. This was to begin with.
Yeah.
And Monday, just work. Well, no, because it was summer holidays, so it's not like I was working, but it was just easier for childcare.
Aye.
For Mondays, but I'm back on Wednesdays now because I'm back to work. Wednesdays is easier, and I did enjoy Wednesday. I got a lot out of it. We did a nice little sequence. Sequence, and it's good to get back in the swing, I think. So, but no, as far as lockdown goes, pretty much the same as everyone else. Just staying in the house, playing in the garden. We still had to teach from home.
Aye.
Like this. I'd be teaching kids. So a class of 20, you'd get none turning up. So it was good.
I think I said it to you when we were back training before. I was like, see teacher, see if that's to repair, I just give them the fucking money. See this like homeschooling, I tried it and I was like,
that's right. I remember you saying it, and everybody at the start, sort of lockdown, you've got to look after your kids sort of thing. And, the teachers will provide work. So we provide work, and then the parents, and there's a honeymoon period of like 3 days, everything was going well. The kids were doing the work. The parents knew what was going on. Everything was fine. But after 3-4 days, that honeymoon period is off. And these kids are just wanting to play on their phones, play their Xbox,
See, mine was all right with doing the homework. It's just like the first lockdown, she was just like the tail end of primary 1. Or primary 2 would have been? Can't mind. It was one of the first ones anyway. And it's like they were sending their stuff home and it's easy enough stuff. It's like getting just basic addition or whatever. But try to teach this to a 5-year-old. It's like, nah.
Trying to relate it to them or something.
Like they gave you the stuff to do it, but they didn't give you like how to teach this stuff. It's just like there. That's what they need to learn. So I have no idea how to teach this to a 5-year-old.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the same that age. I couldn't do like my wee boy. He's at nursery, and the nursery staff are just fantastic. Like every single one of the nursery girls and guys, because there's a guy there. They're all just brilliant, and I don't know how they can survive. We have one, right? He's a nightmare. I love him, but he's a nightmare, and they've got 20 of them, you know, and they love it, and they do a great job. Teenagers, okay, I can, I mean, touch wood, you know, I can handle teenagers, you know, but no, younger kids. So actually, he's turning 3 next week. So what's that? Pretty much 10 more years of not knowing what I'm doing. And then when he's 13, right, come on, I'll show you how to chop wood.
I've got it for here,
yeah. So sorry if people are listening, expect to talk about wrestling, you know, speaking about kids.
We'll get there eventually. This is taking the long way around.
Yeah, how to bring up your kid channel. This is what this is. Yeah, we'll give you advice on that.
See, if there's one thing this podcast is good for, it's just getting added onto it. We'll teach you everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but anyway, it's like who's going to tune in Mr. P and Mickey Vago for a wrestling lesson? You know what I mean? It's like, I want to learn about pro wrestling. I want to learn about chain wrestling. Ooh, Vago and P, they'll have a lot of insight. It's like, yeah, we can give you a little bit of insight, but hey, we'll tell you how to get a reaction from the crowd. But
yeah. Like, as far as the actual wrestling,
yeah, like there's even some names of, like, you know, I've been a wrestling fan since I was 12 years old. I've been a wrestling fan since 12 years old. I still don't know the name of some of these technical moves. And guys at training will be like, yeah, Dave, I'll put you in this reverse arm wringer Indian style. What the fuck is that? You know, it's like, yeah, this tilt-a-whirl, shmooka-paka, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the names of moves. I need to be shown them. You know what I mean?
Also saying that, there's a couple I've got, like Thunder did this thing the other week. It was like, here's a list of 10 things, like 1 to 10. 1's your like your weakest thing, and 10 would be obviously your finisher. So you fill in the list with all the moves that go up the steps.
Yeah.
And there's a couple on mine. I'm thinking, I do this move. I have no idea what it's called.
yeah. So then you just make up like the Vago diver.
Just some sort of silly name. It's like, I get what this is called. I don't get the technical term for this.
I'm with you, and I've never done or gone through it or to call this, like, Johnny Lyons, he had the lion kata, the lion driver, and he would call them those names. You know, they're something, you know, there's a Stone Cold Stunner, or, well, no, the RKO, but he calls it lion kata. I've never called my moves anything, you know, like, you know, the detention. That'd be a great name for a teacher's move, wouldn't it? The detention. The end of term. That'd be a great name for a finishing move. I'm just coming up now, actually. I should write this down. Yeah. I've never gone through my moves, not that I've got many, and given them names, but maybe I should now. Imagine being with someone, calling a match, and say, all right, mate, what's your finisher? Well, it's the end of term. What's that? What's the end of term? You know? It's like, it's an axe kick. Right, so you do an axe kick. But it's the end of term. No, it's an axe kick, mate. You know?
I see. So, I kind of had that when I was using the reverse skull crusher.
Right.
Like skull crusher finale. I used to do it in reverse, and I said, I've got a headbanger, because there wasn't a name for it. So that'll do. As the guy's like, what's your finish? Headbanger. What's that? It's a reverse skull crusher.
There you go.
From now on, I'm just gonna call it a reverse skull crusher. It's like, it's no point.
And you know what? I'm sure Liam, one of the commentators, I'm sure Liam's watching this. You better be watching this, Liam, because we're going to educate you on chain wrestling. But Liam, you're the commentator. You should be naming my moves. It's not like I'm calling them.
Yeah.
So you know, that's a good idea. Yeah, Liam, name my moves, but the finisher is the end of term. Yeah.
Well, what you're saying?
Or school's out for summer.
School's out a fucking tremendous one.
School's out for summer. I should leave to that music. You know what I mean? This is how creative works. Just spitting backwards and forwards. Already we've got a finisher, and I'm going to have different music going out when I win, like Mankind did. Remember Mankind did that?
Yeah.
And I'm surprised there's been I can't think of any other wrestler that's had different music, you know, from the entrance. That should be a thing. So I'm going to do it. So school's out for summer. maybe not in winter time, but yeah.
Get an edit.
Yeah. So I like that. I should maybe drink American IPA more often.
See,
Getting quite creative here.
The creative juices flowing. Right, this is
absolutely
like we were saying about Wednesday. This is basically how Wednesdays work. We just do this.
Yeah.
We get somebody to it.
That's it. So there was originally, like the Wednesdays, not originally, obviously, we've been doing this for like 10 years, but for a while there, it was you, me, Archer. Sorry, Caden, Archer. There we go. Crusher would sometimes be there, wouldn't he? On a Wednesday? Yeah.
Who
else?
Now and again. Missing? Connor would pop in now and again, and Bradley.
Connor.
They were fairly regular. But that was pretty much it. Like we were the core four.
Yeah, the sort of Wednesday crew. And I mean, we'd get a good little workout done. We'd get a good warm up. We'd get a workout. We'd get a sweat on, and we'd leave a little bit more knowledgeable, a little bit more trained up than when we got in. But yeah, when some of these guys came in from Mondays and Tuesdays, like, nah, that try that Monday stuff was, pal. It's just Wednesday, mate. First half hour chit chat. All right. Yeah. Let's start brainstorming.
All right, let's get a wee stretch on and we'll get the brains going.
Yeah. And at this age, you've got to do the stretching, you know. So that was good for that half hour, and then you do a half hour of circuits and whatnot, and then you'd hit the ring, do your stuff. But we'll bring those Wednesdays back, man. We'll bring them back.
Aye. But you said about the Eastern, like you were like me though, you started quite late.
I did, yeah. So how old am I now? Should I say it? Should I say I'm 42? Isn't that crazy? 42. But no, I mean, let's educate people. I became a wrestling fan at 12 years old, and I told Billy Strachan the story. I told him the long story, but the short version of the story is, you're in first year at school. You've got all these new people coming from different primary schools, so you want to fit in.
Aye.
Not all of them are talking about wrestling, and I had no clue what they were talking about. You know, names like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, no clue whatsoever. I knew what wrestling was, but not the American style. And so I thought, oh, geez, I better catch up on this, you know, try and fit in. Can you believe that? The reason I got into wrestling was to try and fit in. That's how lame our school was at the time, or how lame I was, you know. So yeah, and then I got a video, watched SummerSlam 89, fell in love with it. So I watched it, 3 hours videotape, SummerSlam 89, rewound it, took about 10 minutes back in the day. I remember rewinding stuff.
What was that?
SummerSlam 89. That was Hogan and Beefcake against Macho Man and Zeus. That was the main event.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
But the opener was the Hart Foundation and the Brainbusters.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic match. It's still one of my favorites. But the first wrestler I saw come out was Bret Hart. And even then I remember thinking, man, this guy's so cool. He was just so cool. I wanted to be Bret Hart. I wanted to have long hair, shades, the tan, the muscles. You know, I'm 12 years old. You know, I'm thinking this guy's cool as hell.
Aye. The only guy who could wear pink and look cool.
Yeah, that's it. You know, next day at school, hair slicked back, gel, you know, pink top. No, didn't happen. And of course, at the time, it was building up to SummerSlam 91. So Bret had turned singles. So I watched this video, 3 hours, and then I rewound it and watched it again. 6 hours of my life, you know, watching this video and loving it. And then like, it must have been a few days, however long it was later, I bought a magazine, a WWF magazine, and it's a famous one because it's got Hogan and Warrior on the front, and it was the build up to SummerSlam 91. And it had the whole card in there, and it was just so cool. And then that was it. But you're right, to go back to what you were saying, we started quite late. I started training I would have been 31 when I started training. And should I have started earlier? Yes, but did I know how? No. Yeah. No. But do you want a little known fact about Mr. P? In 2001, I worked at a summer camp in America. And I've been working at summer camps in America since 1999. So every summer I would go to a summer camp. But from 2000 to 2006, it was the same summer camp, right? Because I loved it. Camp Chattooga. Google it, guys. It's a great summer camp. You want a good summer job, go to Camp Chattooga, South Carolina, USA. So Atlanta was the main town. So it was 2 hours away, right? So I've got a lot of friends in Atlanta, and basically at summer camp 2001, people come from all over. So me and my friend Harold, he was a wrestling fan, and he researched that there's a wrestling school run by Dory Funk JR called Bang Wrestling down in Florida, which would be about a 10-hour drive. So he's like, am I interested in doing a training camp? I'm like, it's just 2001. I'm 22 years old in America. Like, hell yeah. So we sign up, and it was a $100 deposit. So we paid the $100 deposit. So at the end of camp, me and Harold were going to drive down to Florida, and I think it was, I want to say, a 2-week training camp with Dory Funk. You stay in a hotel, and then you get a match. You're guaranteed to be on the show, right? At the end of 2 weeks. It's like, this is amazing. I could be a wrestler. So the whole summer, we're looking forward to this at the end of the camp. But as things go, during the summer, I met a woman, a girl, a lady, and good old Mr. P here was smitten, fallen in love. So she came first. It's like, oh, spend time with her. So of course that's what I did. And he went, and I didn't go. And I don't regret anything I've done, but I really wish I'd just gone, because the relationship would have ended up the same anyway. And there's nothing against her, the time. It was just, man, I wish I'd gone on that 2-week training camp just to do it. So, of course, he came back after camp, because I stayed at camp helping out for a little bit longer. And he had this videotape of him in a battle royal. And bless Harold, he wasn't the most athletically gifted guy, but he got to have a match. I was so jealous that he had a match, and he got coached by Dory Funk JR. So as he comes back, I'm like, oh, what was Dory Funk JR like? Tell me all the things he taught you, And he's like, yeah, he was okay. It was actually more of his wife that ran things. There was one moment, I remember it well. There was one moment where you got to have a sit down with Dory Funk after training, but I could tell he was just giving everyone the same spiel about, yeah, you're doing good, kid. Hang in there, keep training, you'll go far. I didn't really believe him, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have believed him either, Harold. But that was at that time. I was just so jealous of Harold, the lucky sod, got to train with Dory Funk and have a battle royal. I think he was called the Mad Doctor, right? That was his character at the time. but so that was back in 2001. So we're talking 20 years ago, and then. You know how it is yourself. Just life sort of takes over. You get a job.
Yeah.
You got bills to pay. I remember Googling training schools throughout Scotland, and I remember seeing things like SWE and PBW, but it's just too far away. Even living in Aberdeen, you just can't afford it.
Aye.
And then Wrestlezone. That's my. I need to work on that. It just seemed to happen, and we went off to the races from there, and that's a long story in itself.
Yeah.
But how about, I was 31 when I started. How old were you when you started?
30.
30. Okay. So
30.
what was stopping you from training earlier?
Well, I was.
Did you have the same thing I did? Like, you would, every now and again, I'd be sitting at work bored, and I would Google Scottish wrestling. And these companies would come up. Did you ever do that?
It's like I was always into wrestling. I don't mind a time when I wasn't into wrestling. Like, I grew up with it. My granny was daft on it, so like we always had wrestling. And then round about, like when you're saying you got into it at high school, that's when I sort of stopped watching it. So I would got up until I was maybe 14 or 15. I stopped watching it. And my brother was still into it, so I was still aware of who was going about and getting roughly what was going on, but I wasn't actively watching it. And I didn't watch it for like 10 years. And then I was.
So when was that? What 10 years did you miss?
So around 15, so it would have been 84. So pretty much for like late 90s up until like early 2000s.
The boom period, the best moment in wrestling.
So just say like just when Austin was getting really, really big, I was like, nah, not interested in it. Like, yeah, fuck that.
Really? Yeah.
And then I got back into it. Like, I was doing it at one of the pals and his kid had it on. And it was like, holy fuck, that's Ric Flair. Like, fuck, Shawn Michaels is still going about. These guys I watched like 20 years ago, like they're still kicking it. Oh, here's Undertaker, fucking hell. I was like, all right. And then like like it was, again, you catch the odd bit here and there, and I just got straight back into it. It was about the time Punk was just on his way out, I think, where he was feuding with Edge, I want to say.
Right.
Or Cena. It was one of the two. And that was when I got back into it again properly. And then
right.
It was,
so that's quite recent then. That's quite recent-ish, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like,
well, I guess maybe 10 years.
Aye, give or take.
Yeah, 2011 or something.
2000. Well, something like that. 9, 10, something.
Yeah.
Round about there. And I got back into it again. And then it was when that in the ICW documentary was on BBC or whatever it was.
I remember that. Yeah, Fight Club.
Aye.
It was originally the documentary was Fight Club.
Aye. Yeah.
And then
and it was like seeing guys like Grado, and I was like, these are just regular fucking guys. Like I was aware there was wrestling in Scotland, but it was like it was someone that really looked into or whatever. I was like, these are just fucking just not like I could do this.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like, I turned 30 that year. So like the start of the year, I'd looked into it properly and I'd emailed them. So I'd emailed Wrestlezone and was like, look, I'm fucking turning 30 this year. Fucking, I reckon if it's too late at this point, or and at the point at that time I was still playing football I was playing Sunday league, so I was like playing football on a Sunday. I was training like.
She keeping fit.
Like playing 5-a-side twice a week in a hand. So I was in decent shape.
Yeah, you got an engine. That's what's important. You got an engine behind you to get you going.
And then, like, obviously, they emailed us back. I said, I stay too. I can just come in and whatever. And it was right before Anarchy. They're like, well, we can't get you in because we're getting preparing for the big show of the year, which I had tickets for. So it's like I was in the crowd at Anarchy 2014.
So that's the X-Pac one.
Aye, and I started.
That's the X-Pac.
I started training 2 weeks after.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I wish I could remember the exact moment Ken first saw you. So I walked through the door, but what I do remember, just that time period is it was you, if I remember. You know,
he came through about a year before me.
Was he?
Aye.
Maybe I'm wrong then.
In fact,
maybe, okay.
He was working. He wasn't on the Anarchy show that year, but he worked Union Square, and then he started being on shows regularly after Anarchy passed.
Okay, right.
So like I'd start training just as he was on shows, but he'd been there about a year before I had been.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just the way the brain works. I always thought you two guys came in at the same time. Because I remember when he first kind of started, like everybody does when they first walk through those Scout Hut doors, is you don't really know who to speak to. If you're not an outgoing type of personality, you just keep yourself to yourself, wait for the coaches to tell you what to do, and you do it. And I remember being quite quiet, thinking, oh, he's maybe a quiet lad. How wrong were we? You know? And so, yeah, I just kind of remember that sort of time period, you know?
Yeah, no, like when I started, there was 2 other guys. One guy had left the second week we were there, and the other guy lasted about another month, and then he was gone.
Right.
So like I got bumped up. I think it was it Liam and the farmer guy.
I mind him. He was a good lad.
And Daryl. Daryl.
I remember Daryl. Yeah.
So I got bumped up with them, and obviously they fucked off. So I was just on me and again. And it was like there wasn't another group above them to get bumped up into. It was like, oh well, just train with the guys now.
Yeah. I remember my first training session. Going into the Scout Hut, and you go to the Scout Hut, you walk in, and there's Brian Tucker. You know, he's got his little clipboard, and I goes, "Oh, Dave Parson, you're Brian Tucker. I saw you wrestle the other day." Okay. And then, of course, Crusher Crabe came in, and he was sitting down, and I don't know, he must have had something bad to eat, but his face was just, don't speak to me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he really is mean, you know. But when I first started, there was a guy who started the same. It was me and this other guy. I don't know who he was. And so Scotty took us on and said, we just did rolls. You know how it is. You do the rolls,
just your basics.
Back rolls, your basics. You take a couple of bumps on the mats. This is how you bump. And so me and him are loving it. And I asked all about him. He was doing this for his younger brother. You know, he was doing this to show his younger brother how to train and how to achieve his dreams, sort of thing. So it's quite a nice little story. And that was week 1. Never seen him since. You know, never seen him since. No idea what he's doing or how his brother's getting on. But it's a shame that he never stuck to it. You know, but It was a good story. And we also, at that day at training, there was a film crew there. There wasn't a film crew there. There was a guy with a camera who I think now runs a pretty professional local film company.
Aye.
And he was filming training for that day because I think they were going to have him film some shows. And Scotty knows him. So he's got footage of my first ever training session. Right. And he was very complimentary, saying, "This is your first time, you're doing really well." Because we're just doing rolls and stuff, and do that in my sleep. And I was like, "Thank you very much, thank you very much." And over lockdown, I was thinking of these things and I remembered that. So I messaged Scott to message the guy to see if I could get that footage. It's been 10 years. That's what it was, because it was 10 years last year since my first training session. So Scott messaged him, but it's one of these things. I'm just remembering now that I did this and we've not got a reply. You know what I mean? I've not asked Scott, have we got that footage? Because there's footage out there on my first training session. I want to see it. I don't want to show it to everybody. I don't want to put it out there. I don't want to say, I don't want to say, I just want to see it for me. I'm not a social media type person. It's not like I'm going to put it there. I just genuinely want to see how I looked at my first training session, because it was 10 years, it was 10 years last year. So that was kind of cool, and I've been going ever since.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like until they got the training academy, that seemed to be the thing. Like guys, you maybe get one or two guys through in a group, and the rest would just drop off.
I think with me, it like Jamie started, then Daniel started, and Daniel said this. I remember watching Daniel on Billy's podcast, and Daniel had said Lou had started before me, but I had actually started before Lou. I started in November of 2010, and I remember Lou starting, I want to say January, and I could be wrong, but what I remember, and we've said this to Lou came in and he started training with another guy.
Aye.
And that first session, I think they just sat down and they watched the first session.
Aye.
And then they came back to train. And so for the first couple of weeks, we always saw Lou with this other guy, and we all thought it was Lou's pal, And so after a month or two, the guy never turned around. It's like, "Lou, where's your pal?" It's like, "I don't know. I thought he was your best mate." Barely know him. It's like, "Oh, I just thought because you guys always came in together, you sat together." No, don't know who he was. It was along those lines. But for a while there, like we were the four that were the new guys, for that. In fact, that whole year, 2011, we were always the new trainees sort of thing. So yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah, but
I do miss the Scout Hut. I mean, talking about going to the training academy, like you remember those sessions where you would have the big crash mat, there'd be 10 of you in a line, one guy would go to crash mat and he'd suplex 9 people.
Aye.
And then he'd go to the back and then you get suplexed. So you'd end up getting suplexed 9 times and suplexing 9 times. And I genuinely think the repetition of that's something that we don't do enough of. And I could be wrong. Maybe we do now.
You say that, but we were in training 2 weeks ago, and it was only 4 of us. It was me, Connor, Bradley, and Greg, the new trainee. It's like, we'll do backdrops. So we pretty much did that. Just like, although it was only 4 of us, it was like just backdrop, backdrop. And then you'd skip the cue, and then here's the next one, backdrop.
Right.
So we kind of did a throwback to that.
Yeah. Well, again, I shouldn't say that we don't do it because I don't know what the newer trainees do.
Yeah.
Because I'm very rarely in when the newer trainees are in. But I just remember it being so beneficial for that mind muscle memory. And what I always laugh about was you're in that queue of 9 and you're going to get suplexed by every one of these guys, and some of them are shit. So and some of them are really good, some of them drill you, like body slams especially. Like you can pick up someone in a body slam and safely drop them and make it look devastating. Yeah, you can pick someone and legit drill them and it looks the shits, and it's like, please just slam me. It's pro wrestling. I've got to go to work tomorrow, But I love doing it. I actually quite enjoyed the back body drops and the crash mats when there's 10 of you, but Sean Johnson hated it. And so he went, "Right, guys, we're going to do back body drops now on the crash mats." And where's Sean? And Sean's away taking a 10-minute dump. We're all finished. He comes out. Where you been? Oh, I was just taking a dump. Like he'd always disappear for the ones. And but yeah, like I remember as well. Remember Steve?
Steve.
Steve.
Used to film now and again. Used to be camera. Yeah, Steve.
Lovely guy. I mind me and him. We did back suplexes, and he would back suplex me. I would land, turn. I would, he would throw a line, duck it, boom, and we just back suplex each other back and forth. What a chemistry we had doing just back suplexes. I always remember that, just on each other, like our timing, our execution. It was brilliant, and it was just repetition.
Yeah.
And so that, and I don't think I've ever hit a back suplex in a match. But if I'm ever facing you, Steve, I'm going to back suplex you, and then you can back suplex me, and it'll look brilliant. So
yeah, like since we've been back at training, there's been a few things we've done, just simple things like that, just getting back to basics and that. It's like shit. And I thought back, it's like some of the stuff I like, I've never done this in a match.
Yeah.
Or I've never taken one of those in a match. It's like.
That's it, but you never know. That one time you might. You're like, oh, I remember. Yeah. I'm the same. I'm the same with that. You do things at training that you're never going to do in a match, but at the same time, you just never know, do you? You just never know.
Like a hip toss. I've never thrown a hip toss in a match. I've taken them. I've never thrown one.
Yeah. Well, next time we're fighting, we're gonna call a hip toss.
Throw a hip toss in.
Better be fucking good. Hey, don't drop me on my head.
Yeah, we'll be in training the week before. I'll do 9 in a row and line up, boys.
Get everyone lined up. But no, yeah, those were good sessions. I do miss the scout hut sometimes. I think it's just because it was more spacious as well.
Yeah. There is benefits to having like the training academy now, having the ring there at the time. But I think there was benefits to the scout hut, like just having the ring once a month. Yeah, I think you got to appreciate that just a little bit more.
Yeah. I wouldn't have new trainees in the ring for. I'd be tough. I'd say 6 months. I'd let them look at the ring. I'd let them see the ring. I'd let them train around the ring. I wouldn't let them in the ring for 6 months.
Yeah.
And just one of the big things, one of the big things is people just sticking at it. You know what I mean? Just sticking at it. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be good. Just keep turning up. The more often you do it, you're going to get better at it.
Yeah.
But you have so many people who, like, that's why when new people come in, it's hard. You don't want to invest too much time into them to begin with. I'm friendly and everything, but I don't want to get to know their life story because they'll be gone in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So after about 6 months, like, okay, this person's maybe going to stick it out.
That's basically what Crusher said. He said pretty much exactly the same thing. It's like, I thought it might sound like a bit of a dick, but I don't want to waste the time getting to ken these folk who might be gone in like a month. Because
the same, we only see each other during wrestling. It's not like, tomorrow night you and me are going to go out and, go for a jog or something. It's not. You've maybe got 1 or 2 close friends in Wrestlezone. Yeah. The rest you only see at Wrestlezone. So I really hope that if there are newer trainees watching, we're not being dicks. You keep coming, we'll invest friendship time. You can be my friend.
Just keep coming back. Which they seem to be doing a lot more now. They've got the actual training academy there. They seem to be getting like big groups of guys through it.
Yeah, they do. Especially now, there's so many people I don't know. And all these like the Facebook groups and when are you training? Joe Blogs. I'm training. Who the fuck is Joe Blogs? It's good for Facebook stalking though. You better have a good Facebook because I'm stalking you. It's like, who's this guy? Okay, he's in a band, is he? I wonder if they're any good. So
well, on a Wednesday we ended up with one new trainee, just one. But then I was 1 week I couldn't make it Wednesday, so I was in the Tuesday. I was like, I don't know this guy. I've never seen this guy before. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was the same way. I went to Friday a couple of weeks ago, and no, they were all nice people. I didn't, speak to them. They're all nice folk. Just, and I think I said to them, just keep turning up. Just keep coming. Just take it serious. Take what you're doing seriously and have fun. The usual stuff. But yeah, if they just keep turning up, that'd be great. And that's why I wouldn't let them in the ring for 6 months. I wouldn't let them have a match for a year. I'd make them, if they were any good, I'd make them referee, you know, for the time that, okay, they're really good. You know, say after 3 months, some guy's just like a machine. He's awesome. He's brilliant. He's got the body. He's got the look. He's got the chat. Nah, mate, a year's time. Because it's a lot. There's so much to wrestling. A lot of people make it look easy. I'm not saying we do, but a lot of people make it look easy. And that's why people think anyone thinks they can do it, but it's not for everybody. And I would just say straight out, you know, you're going to train with us. It'll be at least a year before you ever have a match. Fuck it. You know what? Till you ever get in the ring, see if they stay around. Right? Scrap my 6 months, make it a year. Right? You won't be setting foot in the ring for a year. That's what I say though. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have a business, would I? I wouldn't have a training academy if I said that. That's the other thing. Well, that's the other thing. You've got to look at business as well, don't you? So I guess you do have to cater for everyone. This is why I'm not involved in the higher up.
So it's like you keep getting this kind of wrestling's for everybody. It's not like being a fan's for everybody. To be honest, some folk just aren't either physically or mentally or both. They're just not cut out for it.
Yeah, but I think there's something there for them. That, you know, refereeing, obviously, ring announcing. There's something there for them. Even just helping out at merch, just come and be part of the crew. You know, and if anyone treats you like a dick, we'll sort them out. You know, I hate people who come in. It's mainly outside talent that come in and they just act like they're John Cena. You know, it's like, you know, mate, what do you do for a living? And I'm not knocking anybody that's anything for a living. It's like, come on.
There's a couple of them, but even some of the boys stuff, like
yeah,
but they'll like some of the boys within the road, they'll come up and they'll like shake Bill's hand and Scotty's hand, and then when I look at the rest of us, I was like, get fucked.
And that's why I'm saying, go to the merch guys, because these are the guys that are selling your merch. Maybe be nice to them. You know what I mean? And that's why that's why I'm saying, if somebody came to Wrestlezone and says, look, I just want to help out, maybe set up the ring, do merch. Brilliant. But and he'd be treated just like everybody else. You can't put on a show without these guys.
Yeah. The guys that are on the doors, without guys that are on the merch tables, without guys like security or whatever it is. You can't put on a show without these guys.
Yeah.
I said you can't just stick a couple of wrestlers in the door. It doesn't work.
That's it. How long did you do it for? Because of course, but when you start training, that's what you do.
I wasn't very long. I started in just after Anarchy, so it would have been like June, whatever it was. I did the first show I helped do. It was Nairn. Like end of summer. I think I did Nairn. I did Bankery. There was two other. It was 4 shows I staffed, and then like the end of the year, my first kid was born, so I was out for like, and then she was in hospital, so like I was gone for like 2 months, and I was back. I came back with like the last training session of the year before Christmas, and it was like, you're going to be on shows next year. The first show of the year, you're on it.
Were you the Dogs of War or the Rejected? Which one were you? Didn't you have? Because weren't you Dogs of War first?
We were Dogs of War to start with.
Aye.
Yeah, that was just because that's what like that was where the name of the song that we used to come into, the Dogs of War.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's a good tag team name. I like it.
It is, but
why did you change it? It
was not really like Bill wanted something different. So like I looked at obviously Archer was called the Outcast at that point. I was like, well, look, and I was fucking. At that point I didn't even hear the hooligan thing. I was just fucking Mickey Vigo. I didn't hear any other names. So I looked at like, you can look at the online thesaurus or what it was.
We've all done it.
So I was like, so I wrote down a list like everyone, and I scored out the ones that were just no use, and I got down to about 3. So the Rejected was 1, and there was 2 other ones, and the Rejected was the one I liked the most. I says that's the best one out of the 3 of them. So I went back to Bill. I was like, look, I've got these. This is the best one, I think. But I've got these other 2. I said, no, that first one I'll do. Perfect.
Yeah. And there you go. The Rejected was born.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember coming in, and obviously, you've got all these crazy ideas of what you want to be, but naturally, I remember after the first training session, we did this drill. We could do it now if you want, and the viewers could watch at home, that you pulled out a card and it had the name of an emotion, and you had to just show that emotion. You done that one before?
I know, we've done that one, yeah.
Yeah. So of course, happy.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary,
Aye,
isn't it? That's more scary.
Aye, the guys had to guess what it was.
Yeah. So of course, they did me, and it's my first training session. They pulled out, and I pretty much impressed everybody. I can't remember what emotions they were. Like, I don't know. Give me an emotion.
Anger.
It's so corny. There we go. Look, I've got big nostrils. That helps.
Yeah.
Can you flare your nostrils?
No.
Owen can. My son can. He can.
No command.
Yeah. But anyway, it was such a good drill, and I remember them being impressed. And I even remember. I can picture it now. Alan and Damien talking, and what's and I'm thinking, they're thinking evil teacher gimmick. I don't know what they were thinking. I'm thinking they're thinking this guy could be an evil teacher. Because I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
Would work, but I'm still a teacher. Anyway, and so that's what I always thought it would be, and but then of course, basically fast forward. So I started in November 2010. You fast forward to it must have been February 2011. There was a Northern show, and they were merging two titles. It was the No Limits title and the heavyweight title, and they wanted a unified. So they needed someone from management to explain it to the fans. So Stevenson and Bill come up to me and go, "Dave, you got a suit?" Because obviously I'm a teacher. Would work, but I still have a suit. And I said, I got a suit. I said, right, go get your suit, because we'll get you doing a promo tonight. Oh, fucking brilliant. Yes. Nice one. So went home, got the suit, came back, and all of a sudden I was Mr. Patterson, not the manager of Wrestlezone, but representative of Wrestlezone management. And they said, go cut a promo basically explaining why we're merging the titles. And they told me things to say, and I just went out and did it. And I've been a teacher 20 years. It just came natural. You know what I mean? Aye. And because I was kind of a good guy, given this, I didn't play heel, didn't play babyface, just play management. Yeah. It just became, okay, Mr. Patterson is a babyface. So that was me from then on. And it meant, going back to the merch thing, I would, at the smaller shows, I would do merch, I would do the door, I would help Martin out. And, that was an education. But what I liked about it, and I say to people now doing merch, watch the show, but don't just watch the wrestlers, watch the fans, because you'll learn what our fans want. Aye. And that was my education, watching the fans more than the matches, seeing what they're reacting to. And they're not reacting to Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, 2-minute opening back and forth sequence from ECW. Aye. Going, holy shit, or EC dub. You do that in front of them, they'll go, hit him. It's not what they want. Because so many guys come to Wrestlezone, put on a 5-star clinic, tumbleweed.
Aye, that's why you'll it's only some guys you'll only see once or twice. They'll maybe get a second chance, like, start again. Yeah. Then they come back.
I say this to everybody. It's like you pay to go and watch a pantomime. Yeah? You love pantomime. You take the kiss to the panto, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, everyone loves the pantomime. Old people, pantomime's brilliant, but can you imagine paying all that money to pantomime, taking your kid, getting the hot dog, whatever, blah, 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 pantomime starts, and they're doing Shakespeare, like legit Shakespeare. It's like, I didn't pay to see this. It's the same with pro wrestling for Wrestlezone mainly, and I'm talking 80% of the audience. Aye, yeah. The 80% of the audience who probably haven't been there before, who see, okay, wrestling, got to do something with the kid on a Saturday night, take them there. So if you give them Shakespeare, they're not going to buy it. So you give them what they want. And, that's a lesson for people coming to Wrestlezone. Where they're not paying to see Shakespeare. They're not paying to see 5-star classics. They want to be involved. And to involve them, that's when you have to have interaction and have things to do that they can interact with. And that there spawns the genesis of Mr. P. Yes, that's why I chose not to do all that 5-star wrestling stuff. Because I'm secretly really good at it. No. But, yeah. Yeah.
But like Martin said pretty much the same thing like a couple of episodes ago. It's like you get guys coming up.
Hold on. I feel tough now.
Yeah. You'll get guys coming up for down the road, and maybe do them a favour or whatever, and you tell them good, do some crowd work, and you got to come on and maybe a clap with the hands at the start, and they do nothing else the rest of the match. And they'll maybe get a second chance, and they do exactly the same thing. Never see them again.
Yeah, and they can spot fakeness. It's easy to tell when a crowd are clapping somebody because, well, that's what we do. That's what we have to do.
Aye, this is the time to clap.
Or the difference between being genuinely excited, you know. And one of my favorite moments of legitimately seeing an excited crowd, but it was worked that way. It could have only gone this way. Was the time that it was the Halloween show a couple of years ago, and I was sitting in the crowd with the Scream mask on, and I surprised Zach Dynamite. Yeah. By taking the mask off. So I got to watch that whole show, that the first 4 matches, and a couple of those matches just weren't giving anything to the crowd at all. You know, they were giving them almost that Shakespeare-like vibe. So the crowd weren't really hot, put it that way. But then, of course, this is funny. Throughout the whole show, they're always looking at me because I'm the guy sitting at the back by himself with a Scream mask, cans of Red Bull, and a bag, you know, which had food in it, you know, and they all kind of know he's something about him, you know. And I was fully screamed out, getting the mask and everything. I don't know how they knew, but they just knew. Maybe it's my walk. I even tried to walk different when I went to merch. And but they knew something was up. And there was a couple sitting next to me as well. And even they were kind of looking at me. Who's this guy dressed like this? Why is he not taking his mask off? And then it got to the 4th match, which is when I had to not interfere, but make my surprise. And we did the whole reveal. And I remember seeing, because I was fired up as well, when I did the reveal, like there was kids genuinely going nuts because they were excited, genuine excitement. And again, I'm not big up at myself. It was built that way. It would have happened with anybody because the story was built that way. Yeah. You know, it would have happened with you. It would have happened with Archer. It would have happened with Caden Garrick. But I loved it. I thought it was great. These fans are genuinely excited, and you feel that. And it wasn't just, come on, guys. Yeah, let's go. Look at there's a full match, you know. So creating that genuine excitement, it's a mixture of both things. It's the character and the story, and that's when we can big up our employers. We can ask us a little bit here, but that's what Wrestlezone does so well. You know, those stories behind the matches. So yeah, right. Have we kissed ass long enough now by saying that? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got that in there. It's I feel like you said, it's like they can do it the crowd, and they've got a regular crowd that keep coming back for it. That's the thing.
Yeah, and that's why I say 80%. I think, again, it's not an exact science, but 20% of the people in the audience we see all the time, and they love wrestling, and there's a reason they're coming back. And I guess going back to the Shakespeare thing, it's still good to have those types of matches because there's going to be people in the audience that appreciate it. I'm not knocking a 5-star classic match at all. Again, another thing that's good about Wrestlezone is that the buffet we've all spoke about, you know. We do have different styles of matches. We do have different styles of people. So you know, I'm not knocking if you come up and do a 5-star match, but can you also somehow involve the audience so that they're not just viewing it, they're being a part of it. You know,
that's the thing. There is a way of doing it where you can't have that kind of match and just either
it's just so fake, isn't it? It's just so fake, and it's like I'm sitting there. Well, why should I clap for you? Because I have to. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You don't need to like the big gaga or whatever. There is ways to bring the crowd into it.
And it takes time to do as well. You don't just think it and it comes up and it happens first time. I always say that the whole Mr. P character and what I've put into it's evolved. It was never planned like this. You know, everything evolved from something else. And it's talking to guys like yourself, talking through things like we did on Wednesday, and then just a little something. Oh, I'll take that. I was speaking to Malice last Friday. And I can't remember what we were talking about. I wish I did. But Malice is so good when you're having a conversation, and he just throws in a little bit. It's like, man, that's genius. And you know, this is Malice, and some people, you know, are like, oh, why should I listen to him? He's not a good wrestler. He's smart.
No,
but, you know, he's got a wrestling brain.
He was not a good wrestler. He's a good character.
Exactly.
He gets it.
Yeah, that's it. And he'll say himself, he's not athletically gifted, But as far as there was a time where that Mr. Malice character, that's what people wanted to see, and they wanted to see him get his ass whipped because they know that it would happen.
You say like he's not a good asset, he can't do it, but like the amount of technical shit that he's got up there that he can like tell guys.
That's it. And that it bugs me when people don't want to listen to guys like that. I get that sometimes. I feel like I'm giving feedback to somebody and they're like, who are you? You're Mr. P.
Like I've said,
why does I listen to you?
Like a lot of the early shit when I was in, like when I used to be in the Scout Hut and I was in the Sunday, a lot of the stuff I got was for Alan Sterling, and he comes in like he's got this reputation for just being a fucking buffoon in the ring, but he kens what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah. My first show watching, my first Wrestlezone show as a fan, if you will, he had his match was first. I can't remember the name of the guy he wrestled. He came up from Glasgow or something, and it was at the Northern Hotel, and I just remember his facials. I thought his facials were perfect and hilarious and spot on, and he was the first match of the night, but he's the only thing I remember of the whole show. Like, what did you enjoy about the show? Alan Sterling's facials. There you go. I can't remember the moves. I can't remember the spots. It was the facials. The way his facials made me feel was like, that guy's funny. That guy's got it. Beat him up, sort of thing, you know. Sorry, I'm now drinking another unknown. It's a Green King from Bury St Edmunds.
I say Green King. They own a lot of pubs, don't they?
Do they? I don't know.
So it's one of them Wetherspoon type places.
I haven't been in a pub in a while, but it's a big one. It's big. It's like 3.6%. But I don't know if you know this about me. I am the world's worst lightweight. Well, best lightweight, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like my wife was saying to my wife, I'm doing this with you. And she's like, are you drinking? I says, yeah, that's part of the thing. You have a beer, you know, you chat. You just chat. I says, you're going to be drunk after one. Probably. I've been known as a lightweight since I was like 16, 17. You know, like when you started going out drinking. You were Montrose, weren't you?
No, I just moved to Montrose. I'm from Aberdeen.
Oh no, Kai, you're Aberdeen. That's right. I knew that. I did know that. What school did you go to?
St Macher.
St Macher. I'm sorry, but no, it's fine. It's a good school. But no, I was Stonehaven, so I was Mackey, and of course, when you hit 16, 17, well, 16, you're like, okay, drinking. So it was on the streets. We would drink, and it would just be, you know, well, hooch. Hooch was big back then. You remember Hooch?
I got the tail end of Hooch.
Hooch was great. I loved Hooch. Hooch was awesome. But then when you got, well, me, other people maybe did it earlier, but when we got to 17, we would go to the Call Me Hotel, the over 18s disco. But you were in 6th year, so that's where you got drunk. And even since then, I've always been the lightweight of the group. You know, when it comes to beer, just always been the lightweight. And yeah. Not that we're getting off wrestling, but this is a funny story. So when I was 16, I was thinking about this the other day. I was a good runner. I've always been when I was younger, I was a really good runner, and I was part of the Grampian Endurance Squad. So all the top runners in Grampian, we got together, and in 1995, we took a bus trip down to Durham, right, for the World Cross Country Championships to watch it. In fact, you'll like this, we were sponsored by Robert Wiseman Dairies, right? Is that not who you work for?
It was, yeah, before they paid me off, so fuck them.
Fuck them. So they sponsored us back in 95. So we had these like really expensive view from tracksuits with Robert Wiseman Dairies on the back, the big logo.
Yeah, the big green logo.
Yeah, because it's the World Championships. So it was filmed, it was on TV, it was live on TV. So they wanted us to try and find the cameras and turn our backs to the cameras. So they'd get free advertising on BBC at the World Cross Country Championships, right? So anyway, so I'm going down with a group of other 16 and 17-year-olds, right? And they're all from different clubs. So I don't know anybody, right? I don't really know anybody. I've run against them, but I don't know them. And but I've been told that we'll be going out drinking in Durham. I'm like, I'm 16. I'm not going to get anywhere. But I've always looked like Uncle Fester here, really old. So for the first time ever, I know I'm going to be going to clubs and pubs, and I'm 16. I don't know what to ask for when I go to the bar, right? So I says to my dad, I'm going on this trip, right? We're going to end up going to pubs. We're going to end up going to nightclubs. What do I ask for? Like when I go to the bar, what do I ask for? It's easy when you've got a mate's older brother going to the co-op to buy something, right? But what should I ask for, Dad? Of course, my dad's trying to be this responsible adult. Says, son, if you go to a nightclub, right, you just ask for a half-pint lager shandy. Say, what's your dad's? No problem. Yes. So I'm armed with this knowledge. So right enough, we end up in Durham. We get into this club. They didn't even ID me, right? So I'm with these other 16, 17. They were older than me. I do remember that. So maybe they were 17, 18. They were older than me. And of course, we go to the bar. No, we didn't. We didn't go to the bar. We're in a group in the club. We just got in the club. So like one of the guys, right, guys, I'm going to do rounds. What you want? Points to me. And I'm like, give me a half-pint lager shandy. And he's like, half-pint lager shandy? Nah, you're getting a bud. I just went, oh no, totally blew it. So I had no cool points from then on with my Robert Wiseman Dairies tracksuit top. But, I mean, that's what you're going to do as a dad, right? Half-pint lager shandy in a club. You know, then he'd be 18. So that was fun. That's my drinking story. There you go.
Yeah, fun enough.
Seriously, biggest lightweight. One
of my pals, we used to buy him half pints because we used to joke he could never manage a Haleen.
Yeah. But the thing is with pints, I'm needing it now. I'm needing to go to the toilet. But it's just too much. That's why now I do vodka Red Bull. I find I don't really get drunk on that. And I like the taste of Red Bull. I've never understood vodka. Like people who drink Russians, just vodka. How can you drink that? Are you a whiskey man?
Rum mainly, spicy rum.
Rum, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to drink a lot of whiskey, like I'm not fancy whiskey, but just like like Jack Daniels, because like when I first got into like music and stuff, it was like Lemmy drunk Jack Daniels, so I'm going to drink Jack Daniels.
Exactly.
And then
I think now is
eventually I just switched on. Like I prefer spicy rum. Like it's a better taste. I think. I tried. It was 1 year. I tried vodka. I can never touch vodka again. Like,
really?
It's probably nothing to do with vodka. It's probably to do with the amount of other drinks I had that night. And the amount of time we'd been drinking. It's like, I can't look at it now.
Are you an energy drink guy? Do you drink energy drinks like Red Bull? I drink Red Bull all the time. That's why with vodka, I don't mind it. I can keep going, not get drunk.
I can't say I'm a fan. Like I've got like the monsters, but like the one with the juice, whatever it is. I can't drink just like straight Red Bull or what I did.
Okay.
It's not for me, but
I did find one of our Wrestlezone Christmas parties. The one upstairs. We're upstairs at a bar. Quite like that one. But for some reason, I just wanted to do whiskies. And I guess I'm at that age now when I can appreciate it. I quite like it. It's like, okay, this is actually quite nice to drink. Whereas, vodka, not nice to drink. Things like that. But yeah. Not the world's best drinker, am I? I wasn't built for it. I'm just skin and bone. So
see, I was just like I used to go like pubs when I was younger, and then with the kids, and I was never a big drinker. Like when I was in the house in Maine, I just never used to drink. And then part of it was because I was driving 5 days a week. So I can't really hear drink. And then come the weekends, unless I was getting to the pub, I just didn't drink.
Yeah.
But then when I got paid off like a couple of years ago, it just so happened like the week before I'd won this raffle at one of the takeaways in Montrose, and it was a massive drink, like 300 quid's worth of drink, all these different kind of whiskies and gins and whatever. So about every night, it was about 3 months before I got another job. So about every night I was like, oh, okay, try this one and this.
And so it begins. But,
and that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, that's why we're doing podcasts. I haven't asked how much I'm getting paid for this. Am I getting my envelope with the money in it? I missed that. For those that don't know, they pay us in Wrestlezone. They now just do it by bank transfer. But I liked going to a show, getting an envelope with. We're not going to say how much money because we're not allowed to discuss wages. But at least I loved getting an envelope. And if I was working twice, like as a certain individual and Mr. P, right, and I was driving, it's a nice envelope to open up. It really was. And the best one was we used to do Friday and Saturday shows. And I would work twice on Friday, twice on Saturday, travel both shows, and sell my merch. I made a ton load of money, right? I can't remember how much because I write it all down. Like I know Jericho talks about how he writes all his matches. That I've done that since the start. It's a thing when I was a runner, when I was younger, we were taught to keep training diaries with every training session. So I've got a diary of every training session we've ever done, right? Every match I've ever had, how many people were there, And I've done the same with merch. Like this is what I sold. This is how much money I made. And I don't know if I should maybe say this, but you ever seen Casino with De Niro and that, and they end up, or is it Goodfellas? But they end up getting done because the guy kept the records of everything. So all the prosecutions came from this guy's book, this ledger of all the things they didn't pay tax on. I've got a ledger of all the things I've not paid tax on. So it's like if I get raided by the tax man, this is one thing I've got to burn.
Fun enough. I've got the same.
Have you done the same? Yeah. We're gonna have to edit this part out. You know what I mean?
Not so much like the training ones. I've got like the first 2 or 3 years maybe, and then I just stopped because we were just doing all the same stuff. But every match I've had and every wage I've ever had, it's all written down somewhere.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to look at. I mean, I'm not ashamed of saying it, but I've only had one. I think it's 184. I want to say that's the last match I had was with Tucker. So I've had 184 matches since my debut, which was April 2012. So it averages out, take lockdown out, about 2 a month, which is actually not bad for someone who's only worked one company in the northeast of Scotland, but had 2 gimmicks. The 2 gimmicks has helped. When you throw in gala shows, when you throw in battle royals.
I was just going to say, do you count galas in that?
Yeah, I do count galas because any match that's in front of it, I don't never count training matches ever. It's only matches where people have either paid to see or galas, which I still class as actual matches because bell to bell it's a match. But there's people in the Scottish wrestling scene who have 2,000 matches. Get the fuck! You've had 2,000 matches. I've legit had 184, right? 2 gimmicks, averaging twice a month, which is probably more than most people wrestling in Scotland. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's good to look. That's why it's good to look back at these things, and look. Imagine if I saved that money, I'd have at least 3-4 grand. I may be exaggerating slightly, but I'd have a lot of money, if I just saved it over those 10 years and accumulated interest and invested. But no, once you get that money, you buy pizza on the way home and a 6-pack of Red Bull. That's what you buy.
But it's like you're saying with the envelope. Like when I first started, I didn't realize we got paid for it. I just thought we were just doing it for fun. Like the first show I worked, it wasn't even a match. I just run in. I just interfered in Archer's match. Like beforehand, like Scotty comes up with this envelope. And it's just like, I should pay.
Right.
Pay.
I
didn't get about this. This is even better.
The amount of times I've tried to politic for a run-in just for that extra, because anytime you're out in front of the crowd, they'll give you money for it each time. So we get money for a run-in, and I'd always try. Do you think I should run in at this time? Save Scotty Swift. He's due a save. Fed up a saving his ass. Here, but I really need to piss. You can edit this part, can't you?
Yeah, I'll put a break in. It's fine.
Right. Okay. Put a Blue Chew commercial up. Yeah.
Here's Omaha Steaks.
Yeah, I'll put this here. There. They'll thank us for our sponsorship. Right. 2 seconds. Feels better, eh?
I thought I might as well go since you've gone.
That's it. Did your dog follow you? Do you get your dog following you?
He's lying at the top of the stairs.
Is he? My cat. My cat's a wee perv. Hey, staring up at you when you're peeing. It's like, what? What are you looking at? Stupid cat. Anyway, she's lovely.
Like we bought the dog out of this fancy beds and whatever else. Lies at the top of the stairs and just sleeps there. It's like,
brilliant. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Chewit, our cat. She's basically at my feet all the time. She's my shadow. She's a lover, not a fighter. Good girl.
Yeah. So.
Aye.
So we're back.
So we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. We're back. Nice short break. How long do you go with these things?
Just as long as it takes. I think the shortest one so far has been an hour and a half. I think the longest one I did, say the Dino or Martin, was about 3 hours.
Really, Scotty? You need taking the leaders one? No?
Well, Scotty. Well, technically we did Scotty's one in 2 parts.
So, right, aye.
So if you add them up, it's a lot more.
And the thing is, like, we can joke and take the Mickey, which we do, 3 hours, blah blah blah. But he's done a fair bit. You know what I mean? It's like, and this isn't sucking up to Scotty. He's a friend. I class him as a friend. But why wouldn't you want to interview Scotty? You know what I mean?
It's like,
he's seen a lot.
It's like Billy said it one 3 times, and there's some of the stuff that he's told Billy I've never heard before.
Yeah, that's it. Why wouldn't you want to interview him? And he's fucking cat keeps opening the door. He's got a lot to say, good, bad, indifferent, negative, positive, but it's all true. You know what I mean? It's all true. Like when he starts slagging off certain companies like SWE, it's like, that's true. We're not being dicks about it.
He said himself, and he's winding down now. He's no illusions. He's getting booked anywhere else. He's stopped caring about trying to keep the peace. He's just telling it like it is now.
Yeah. I mean, we I don't know if you spoke with other people about the past year and speaking out, but it's been a huge thing, and
we've lost.
I wish, I wish we kicked out more. I don't know. I feel like at the time it was huge and everyone was in uproar and oh yeah, this is crazy. Oh no, but they're still kind of here. Not much has changed. That's disappointing. That's disappointing.
Like you say, as shite as it is, like it was never going to change anything. Like you get rid of a couple of the really bad ones, and the rest of them, they were always going to creep back in eventually. The people and the fucking companies, they were always going to come back.
And I genuinely think we don't realize how addictive wrestling is. I mean, if you think of us at our age, maybe more so me, and we're still doing it, there is an element of, I really enjoy doing I really enjoy wrestling. I just enjoy it.
See, my back was in bits before lockdown. Like my back was getting really bad, and it got a lot better. Like it was pretty much back to normal, and then we go back to training again, and it's not as bad, but it's still not right. It's like, so I can it's wrestling is doing it. I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah. Well, and like they say, until you have to.
Aye.
And then fair play. At least you had to. Yeah. Like we joke. Like Sean, one of my best pals in wrestling, I would say, and we joke all the time that for the past 5 years, I've said this is going to be my last year. This is going to be my last year. This is going to be my last year. But then I'll get myself in such good shape. I'll be like, no, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. And then the shape goes down a little bit. And then I think, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I get in good shape again. And like now, because of lockdown, it's just made me want to do it more. If that makes sense. Like just being really strict about the training and the gym more than anything, as you can tell, if I do this with the camera, it's a certain way you have to hold yourself in the camera to prove to people you've been working out. Look at that. But no, it's just addictive, and I can't wait until October 9th, Northern Hotel. Get your tickets now. But no, I'm sure you're the same. I just can't wait to get back out there again and do it. Really missed it. And that's the thing. All these people that have done bad in wrestling, they know they've done bad. They've been caught out, but they're kind of like, well, weaseled their way back in or whatever. And it's like, okay. And it all depends on who you know. It's all one big friendship thing. And is it ever going to change? I don't know.
But a lot of the problem is a lot of the fans have no idea any of this ever happened. They just see wrestling on the poster. It's like, I've got wrestling, and they've no idea who the fuck's on it or like what the background behind any of these people are. They just see wrestling. As I'm going to take the kids to wrestling Saturday night. Yeah,
and that's your 80% of the audience. And I would say even 5% of our audience were even aware of speaking out, and that came from Twitter. And if they are believing stuff on Twitter, then who knows, But we've always known the rumors through people who've told us, but you don't know if it's true or not. But when you're getting 5 different people telling you the same story, or remnants of the same story, it's kind of like, well, this guy's a bit of a creep. And there's reasons why that type of creep hasn't been signed for Wrestlezone.
There's fire.
Exactly. If you're hearing it from one person, okay, maybe that person's got a gripe. We can't take it from one. But if so many people are saying it, and then people in your inner circle have witnessed it, it's like, okay, well, I trust this guy. He says he saw it, so it's going to be done. But what it needs, and I hate to be the person to say this, but maybe it's the more obvious route, is there does need to be some form of regulation. And it's going to be very unpopular, but if you look at it this way, you and me tomorrow, Vago, could start a wrestling company, could start a wrestling school, and could start coaching kids.
Aye.
We'll get the form, which I've got because I'm a teacher, which naturally it happens. But what's the check? You know, the police check, right? No one will ever. No one. What's our qualifications, Vago? 10 years in the business.
Aye.
When I was younger, my thing was coaching. I coached athletics and I coached football. I went through so many coaching courses just to be able to coach, and groups of kids. And even then, it's almost like a probation when you're coaching, because you've got all these senior coaches watching you coach, filling out forms, But now any Tom, Dick, or Harry who says that, "Oh, I've been wrestling 20 years," why are you still shit?
Well,
Sorry, I said I wouldn't. I wouldn't swear, but that's what bugs me. People who are bragging, "I've been wrestling 20 years. I'm the most experienced vet in the northeast of whatever." But you're shit. You think you are genuinely shit. You cannot bump. You cannot hit a move. Am I turning it Scotty Swift? Is this like the Scotty Swift episode? I can imagine him saying that. But it's so true. And if there was a form of regulation, then at least people who are coaching are qualified, etc. But the problem is, how do you ever get started with the regulation?
It's like, who'd you put in charge? It's like,
yeah, the government did the government did that whole report thing, and it's fucking ICW. Was it Progress as well? Was it? I don't. Maybe it wasn't Progress, but ICW was part of the company that helped with this thing. Right?
There was no. It was. I was one in England. It was neither of those two. It was one of them.
Sorry, I apologise if I got it wrong.
I think they were involved at some point, but there was one. I can't remember the name of them for the life of me. But there was one, and they had some of the worst teams working for them. You think, how? So that's what you're dealing with. Like these politicians have got no idea, and they're just like, well, there's a wrestling company. We'll bring them in. Yeah.
But I've said all that. It'll never happen. It's too complex, because it is, it's fine to like mixed martial arts, karate. We've got Thai boxing just down the road, all regulated, all have to be part of parent companies, who vet all the coaches, who can check that the coaches know how to coach and know what they're talking about. It's all structured. Wrestling's never going to happen.
It was the same thing when they tried to, like, off the bat they're speaking out, it was like, we should have a union, or some sort of union. And it was, I was getting steam, right up until the point it was like, need some money. Nah, nobody's interested.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, there you go. I remember as well, back in the day, Alex Shane. Do you remember him? Alex Shane.
The name rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah, he was down in England, really tall guy. I can't remember the name of the company that he ran, but he wrote a book, and he's one of these self-help gurus that seems to love himself a little bit too much. But actually, he came off as quite arrogant, but some of the stuff in his book, it's like, okay, that's actually quite good, right? Some of the stories that he told that he'd been through. But he spoke about how wrestling should have a grading system like belts. So for example, and I'm probably getting this wrong, but from what I remember, you get your white belt when you learn how to bump and run the ropes. You get your yellow belt when you can do a hip toss and a body slam. But the problem was it was also set and tick boxy. So are you telling me that if I go in the ring with a black belt wrestler, I'll have a 5-star match because he can do all these things? It doesn't work like that, And the thing is, even that type of system in karate and try to be smart and think of all these combat sports, when they do belts, it's all about that. If you just keep paying and going long enough, you're going to get a black belt in 2 years. You don't hate to be good. You just hate to keep paying your money and turn up for 2 years. They'll give you a black belt, and you can say you're a black belt. And I really hope I'm not full of shit, or I'm going to get my ass kicked by someone with a black belt. I'm not knocking anyone with a black belt, because it does take a lot. I'm just being a cynic. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Cynic. Yeah, I'm just being a cynic. I do respect black belts. I'm still getting my ass kicked right now. This is why I don't drink. You know what I mean? I start fights in pubs with black belts and they whoop me. But no. Anyway.
Yeah, we're very serious there.
Fucking cat's wanting out now. She can't make up her mind. Right, hold on. There's this door here. She's getting bored of my banter too. She's like, let me out. He's talking about black belts. Never had a black belt in my life.
Yeah. I tried to speak to my mum to let me go kickboxing when I was younger. She was like, nah, you can do someone else, judo or whatever it was. I want to do judo, I want to do kickboxing. Because at the time, like, I'd just seen Kickboxer and fucking Best of the Best or whatever it was.
Oh, that was it.
Like,
yeah.
Which is I want to do kickboxing.
We all did karate at some point. I did karate when I was in primary school as well for like 2 weeks.
Aye.
That was my thing as well. When I'm primary, I never stuck at anything. My dad was like, you never stick at anything. Then I did running and was good at it. So I stuck at it. You stick at things you're good at.
Aye.
But did you know, a year before I started training, me and my mate, Mark, we just turned 30 and we're like, we've got to do something. We're 30 now. You know, our 20s was all about drinking, having fun. It was always a cheap night for me. And let's do something. So we went to Taekwondo for the taster session. And then we went to Jiu-Jitsu for a taster session. Who, believe it or not, he won't remember this, but what's his face was there at the time?
Jimbo,
he was there at the time. He was there for he was already there for a couple of years or whatever, but me and Wayne just had a taster session and they just stretched us. But then his pal was part of Aberdeen Martial Arts Group, which are now just around the corner. So me and Wayne, Mark, we did Muay Thai for a year. Before I did train, and I loved it. I loved Muay Thai. I loved it. And we never had any, you know, preconceived notions that we would be fighters, but the training was awesome. I just loved the training, and you just felt you're dripping in sweat. You felt like a badass, you know. And I miss it. I really do miss the Muay Thai. It was fantastic. And when I first met Scott and Bill, we'd had a seminar at the weekend. This top Muay Thai fighter from Thailand had come over, and we did the seminar with him, and it was like 50 people do this seminar. It was awesome. And somebody had grabbed me, and they hadn't trimmed their nails, and I had a massive scratch, like from there to there, like, so it legit looked like someone had put a knife to me, right? So of course I've got quite the skinny long neck. So when I meet Bill and Scott, I wear my suit when I meet Bill and Scott for the first time. That's a different. I'll get back to that story of why we met in a minute. But here's this bald-headed guy with this massive scar, you know, from there to there that I just achieved. And, you know, we had our chat and whatnot, and we never mentioned it. And it was a couple of weeks later I mentioned to Scott, because I continued doing Muay Thai for a couple of months while I was wrestling training. I felt like such a badass Mickey Vago. I was training to be a pro wrestler and a Muay Thai fighter, you know what I mean? And for 2 months, and then it's too much. It's too much for me to do. And I remember mentioning it to Scott. Do you remember that? Goes, yeah, I thought you'd done something really nasty. He said, no, it was just some guy's nails scratched me, you know. But no, that was cool. No,
your mic's cut out.
There you go. Push the button. No, the reason I first met Scott and Bill at Slane's Castle, the bar, not the actual castle. Can you imagine that? I meet us at Slane's Castle.
That's a bit more random, eh?
Scott and Bill, 2 wrestlers. Can I pay to meet you, please? At Slane's Castle. It's a lovely castle, by the way. But no, we went to pub. Was being a teacher, we do activities weeks.
Yeah.
And for the past couple of years previous, I'd always done paintball. Loved it. But I wanted to do something different. So I wonder if there's a wrestling company nearby. Bring the ring to the school, teach the kids wrestling. Googled Wrestlezone, Scotty Swift, red-haired warrior. And I just said, look, I'm a teacher. We do activities week. Is there anything we can do where you guys would bring the ring to school and teach kids how to wrestle? So he messaged back saying, look, this is something we're interested in, because they were just still finding their feet as a company that they'd taken over with Stu, over from Stu. And so they said we should meet up. I was like, yeah, okay, let's meet up. And we met up at Slane's Castle, right? So I remember meeting them, and I knew what they looked like. It must have been Facebook or Bebo or whatever, but I knew what they looked like because I hadn't been to any of their shows yet. And it would have been the website I knew them from. Bill, not Scotty. You obviously know what Scotty is. Anyway, we had like a 3-hour conversation at Slane's Castle, and we just spoke about wrestling. That's all we spoke about was wrestling. And as I don't know how you, because you came in later, but when I was younger, you had lots of wrestling friends, but they grew out of it. I just never grew out of it. I was the only one that never grew out of it, but stayed a hardcore loyal fan. You know, some of them, like yourself, maybe dipped in and out in between times, or they'll watch it because I'm watching it. You know, but And all of a sudden, I'm having this conversation with two guys I've never met, and we're getting on like that just because of wrestling. Nothing else, just wrestling. Scott's got his job completely different to Bill's, completely different to mine, but we're getting on like a house on fire. And I went home after that, and my girlfriend at the time says, "So how was it?" I said, "I just had the best night of my life." Just sitting down with two guys I've never met, but just talking about wrestling. But we all had the same, same thoughts on wrestling, the same ideology of what wrestling is and what wrestling should be. And then it was a case of just emails back and forth. What size is the ring? What days can we do? How much should we charge the kids? And then I just thought, you know what? Wonder if I could train with them, because I was an athlete, kind of. I just thought, so I emailed them saying, "Look, what's the chances of training with you guys?" And that was it. I don't know how you felt, but the first time I just wanted to train. And then the next goal was just step foot in a ring, take a bump in a ring. If that's it, I'm done. I'm happy. Right. And it just grew from there, and that was it. So it was either that or Muay Thai. But the thing is, I do have plans in 5 years when I finally step away to go back to Muay Thai, because it is just down the road. It's awesome. It's good fun.
See, I had a guy I played football with, and he was a boxer. And I bumped into him just a couple of years ago. He's actually a hairdresser. I was in getting my hair cut, and we were chatting about whatever. And he brought up, so I mentioned, "Can you still boxing or whatever?" And he runs a gym on the side of Montrose. He says, "We're doing this thing, and it's kind of like the same kind of thing that is it white collar boxing or whatever it is? Same kind of thing. In a minute. Charity boxing." He's like, "Again, you're right. You should get involved in this shit." I was like, and I thought about it, and I thought, it'd be all well and good unless I got beat, and it just kills my fucking gimmick. Like, I'm supposed to be this fighter, and I just get my fucking ass handed to me. It's like, nah, maybe.
No, I'm totally with you. I signed up for ultra collar white boxing. So Lee McAllister does this. And I signed up for it, and it would have been a few months before lockdown, because the show never took place because lockdown happened. So I signed up for it, got the emails to come to the meeting. And when it came time to go to the meeting, I just had cold feet. I thought, no, I won't go to the meeting. But then I spoke to Andy about it, and because one of our pals had done it. Sorry, Caden Garrick, gimmick names. And he was telling me, Ken, his mate liked it and everything, but the catch, if you will, and it's not a bad thing, it's because I do really want to do it one day. It's just having the balls to do it. It's one of those things. I guess it's how people feel when they want to do pro wrestling. They're really serious about it, but as soon as you have to open that door, I might back out. You know what I mean? But once you do it, you get the training and everything for free, and you're probably going to end up fighting the guy that you train most often with, because you're maybe the same height, build, whatever. But you're the same sort of guy, yeah. But you've got to sell tickets. You've got to sell a certain amount of tickets, like tables. So I don't know if it was something like 10 or 12 people, paying however much, £20 a pop. And again, I could be completely wrong. I'm not knocking the system, because it's a good idea, because a lot of the money goes to charity. But I just don't think I have 10 or 12 friends who would want to come. You know what I mean? Maybe I could get you Wrestlezone guys, but even then, I think it'd be a sympathy payment, and there'd be this empty table for Patterson, because I'm fighting. But I would love to do it just for the experience. But like you say, it's, what if I get beat? What if I get knocked out? And it's in the first 10 seconds. You know what I mean? I just couldn't live with myself.
But that's the thing. It's ultra amateur boxing. It just one stray punch, one lucky punch, and you could be it.
Yeah, and they did a documentary on it, again, one of the Tonight shows, and they tried to paint a negative light on it, but it was actually quite difficult, because I thought, well, no, they're doing fine. But what they were saying was sometimes they can't pair a boxer with somebody, so they get what do you call them? For the fighters that just they do it for a job, but they do it for like £30 a pop. It's got a name. Rocky Balboa was one before he was it'll come to me at the end. But basically they get old pros doing it, and old pros kind of treat it like a circuit. It's like, oh, Newcastle needs you, right? No problem. What's the name? What's the word I'm looking for? It's like hobby fighters or something. Hobby fighters, hobby boxers, day boxers, night boxers. It'll come to me later. Yeah. So but they even interviewed one of these guys who's a pro boxer, and he's like, look, I'll tone it down. I'll fight to your level. But if you try something sweet and cheeky, I'm going to knock you out. You know what I mean? If you try something dirty and above your station, you're getting sorted. But I'd love to be able to do that. But again, I'll be honest, just having the balls to actually open that door and go all the way through that, I don't think I'll do. It's the same with Total Wipeout. You ever watch Total Wipeout? When they have the big bouncy balls
I always fancy my chances at that.
Yeah, but dude, what if you slip on that first thing? You just set one foot on it and you slip in the water. Because they did this whole thing at the start of the show with this 80-year-old woman, and they had her life story before the 80-year-old woman did it. And, it was all beautiful. The music was playing. And then the 80-year-old's ready to go. Steps on the first thing, slips down. Of course, the commentators are like, no.
See,
I just know that'd be
like
me.
Total Wipeout, you can kind of get away with it there because it's like this. It's meant to be this comedy thing. It's the other one, kind of the more serious one, the American one.
I think, right. Maybe I'm thinking Ninja. Sorry, I'm thinking Ninja Warrior. Yeah, I'm thinking Ninja Warrior. They did the old woman thing with the Ninja Warrior. Yeah, Total Wipeout's the more funny. Just I'm gonna jump these balls. Boom, boom, boom.
Here's some fucking boxing gloves popping at the wall, and
yeah,
that kind of caper.
The new one was on with John Cena because John Cena's hosting it. I think it's American. Must be American Total Wipeout. It's brutal. Like some of the things coming out and straight up hitting them in the face, like, and the falls that they do, and their neck is bending like that, and their backs like that. Dude, it was on last Saturday or Sunday. It must have been like ITV2 or something. But look out for it. I think it is American Total Wipeout with John Cena because he's hosting it, and he's not our John Cena anymore. He's just too, I don't know, something about John.
He's Hollywood John Cena now.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a bad taste in my mouth when I see John Cena, not the wrestler. When he's wrestling, I'm all for it. But when he's just John Cena, the TV presenter, I'll say it, his acting is horrible. You've seen that? You've seen the Fireman movie where he's a fireman? It's just awful.
Oh yeah, no, I know which one.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how he is in the Suicide Squad, but he's just not a good actor.
He's named one of the Fast and Furious movies. I know, like Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I've not seen that one.
Maybe or whatever it is.
Yeah, maybe he's got better, but no.
I think that
Batista for me. That boy can act. There needs to be a Drax Marvel TV series, getting 6 episodes, like of before he became the way he was, like with his wife and that. That'd be good. That's what we need. I'm sure we've changed the world, but I'm sure all our viewers will make sure it happens when they go on Twitter.
We've got the numbers.
That's it. We've got the numbers. Let's make change. Started here. Yeah, Drax Marvel TV series. But yeah, Ultra Call. I mean, there we go. If you and me do it, and then we fight each other, we can work our punches.
We'll work it.
We could work a match.
We'll do proper Rocky, just a double knockout at the end.
Yeah, proper Rocky style though. Like we could work it. We know how to throw our punches and tell a story. Hey, Mickey, what's your shine? Well, I'm going to throw a left jab, right hook, you duck it, uppercut, right? I'll take you to the corner, get the body, yeah. Can I powder? There's powder in boxing.
Yeah, we'll do the match for Rocky 3 with Thunder Lips.
Hey, speaking of Crusher Craig at training, and we're talking about matches, and it always for me and him, whenever we talk about matches, it just goes back to the Rocky story of their matches, because each of the Rocky fights, I'm a huge Rocky fan, is a perfect story of beginning, middle, and end. You know what I mean? They're fantastic, apart from Rocky 5. No, you know what? Everyone slates Rocky 5, and rightly so. But the fight at the end in Rocky 5, because it's in the street, is actually really good. And you can see why they went that route. They wanted to do something different, because what else could they do after Rocky 4? He's retiring. What do you do with a retired boxer? He coaches. Where's the story there? The guy turns on him because he becomes famous. You know what I mean? It's actually, when you talk about the story of Rocky 5, it's brilliant. But in the execution, it was just awful. And I think that's because...
It's like they nailed it with Creed.
Yeah, I think they got it there. But he never turned, did he?
No. But
Apollo's kid never turned. Maybe it's coming. Maybe it's coming. You don't know. But the thing I think it was the crutch for Rocky V was it was made in 1990, and that year of there weren't a lot of movies great that time, you know. So I just feel the timing of it. You know, if it was set in a different time,
Aye,
the story maybe would have worked. You know, but yeah, that's Rocky for you. Good movies.
No, I do enjoy Rocky.
Mm-hmm. The soundtrack's good as well. Get a pump, going to the gym, you got to listen to the soundtrack. But the Creed soundtrack is badass too. That's really good. The Creed soundtrack and Creed 2. Don't think I'm talking about Creed the album, Creed the band. You must hate you being a heavy metal hooligan. You must hate bands like Creed, do you? But, you know,
hate's a strong
what's
word.
it? My sacrifice, my arms wide open.
Like 90s bands that sound the fucking same.
Yeah, well, Ted did that, didn't they?
Aye, you
Ted said that.
Sing them on vowels, yeah. Aye.
Yeah, remember her. Every 90s band. Remember her. That's it. But yeah, I just think, are you a real sort of heavy metal, like, okay, I might be wrong in this, but you know, Metallica, Megadeth, AC/DC, you mentioned them earlier, Lemmy, Motorhead. And then do you look down on the Bon Jovis, the Aerosmiths, the White Snakes?
No, if I'm in the mood for it, I can go a lot of different shit. Like if you look through my Spotify, there's all fucking difference. Like I've got Status Quo, I've got James Brown on there, I've got fucking Bob Marley, I've got fucking Little Richard, like all these shit you wouldn't expect like a metal guy to listen to.
Yeah,
but it's like Lemmy, like we speak about Lemmy, like he insists that the greatest fucking vocalist of all time was Roy Orbison.
Wow. Okay. And he's not bad. Roy Orbison.
Like the age of Lemmy, like he was like the music he was into was a lot of like the 50s, 60s rock and roll kind of stuff. So it's like, well, can it make sense?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, like I'm all over the place. Like it depends.
Yeah. But the thing is, this is a compliment. You look like you like heavy metal. You know, even now with that background that you've got, it's like, okay, and the beard, the hair, you've always had the long hair. It's like, he's a heavy metal guy. It's not like you're going around singing Backstreet Boys. No. You know, I want it that way, which I have nothing against. I have a bit of a soft spot for some boy bands. I'm not going to lie. Not gay. I'm just saying. 2021, it's not a big deal now. But I don't mind a boy band. But do you know my favorite band? Do you know my guy? Do you know, have I ever told you who my guy is? Who I'm legit big time fan. I know everything about him. This is my Bret Hart of the music industry. Do you know who it is?
I don't think
who
so.
Would you think? Someone who looks like me. Who would it be? This would be a good question for like the kids at school. If I said this to them, they'd be saying things like, I don't know, REM, you know, things like that. you like REM. My dad likes Oasis. You like Oasis, don't you? That's what they're like.
Yeah, I think I can. Like I know you mentioned fucking Bon Jovi a couple of times.
But love Bon Jovi. But they're, you know, if it was do or die, one last concert to see your entire life, it wouldn't be Bon Jovi. They'd be up there. They'd be top 5, I would say. But I'm like you. I'm not a music snob. I will listen to anything. I like some Metallica. I like some Motorhead. I like Backstreet Boys. I like NSYNC. Bye Bye Bye. Classic tune. If you've got a good singer and it's a good song, I like it. Katy Perry, big fan. But no, my guy is Meatloaf. I'm a huge Meatloaf fan. Love him.
See, I can go see Meatloaf.
I've been to 3 of his concerts. And I think I've only been to 4 concerts in my entire life. Do you want to know who the 4th one was? Europe. Remember Europe?
You were fucking brilliant.
They were. It was 2005 at Mosholu, right? Which was once the zoo, which fuck knows what it's calling itself now. But it was like, it only must have been about 200 people. And, you know, Europe pulled the bus outside Liquid nightclub. That's where they had to park the bus. It's just and they were brilliant. And I tell you, when they sang the final countdown at the end, the place was jumping, like proper jumping.
I saw the one tour where I want to say it was Def Leppard and Whitesnake.
Oh, that's a dream.
In fact, they're touring next year with Whitesnake and who's the third band they're playing with? It's like REO Speedwagon or someone. It's
So Holy
something
Trinity.
It is. It's
I like a
something
bit
like
REO
that.
Speedwagon. I like REO Speedwagon.
It's definitely Whitesnake in Europe, and I can't remember who the third one is, but it's someone like REO Speedwagon.
Even Def Leppard, you know. But the thing with Meatloaf for me, like my sister, she's older, and she's always going out not clubbing, sorry, but to gigs.
Aye.
She's one of these. She's a couple of years older than me. She's got her boyfriend. She doesn't hate kids, but she goes out all the time to these gigs. It's the time of her life.
Aye.
So growing up, she would always play fucking Bon Jovi. Always, remember Always by Bon Jovi all the time, and it would drive me insane. And then she would listen to Aerosmith, you know, Crying, Amazing, and Crazy, because those were the three at the time that really propelled Aerosmith.
Oh, the ballads.
It would drive me nuts. But then at that time, I hit puberty, and something in my ears, like, hold on, these were actually good tunes. So I would go and steal her CDs, and I would listen to the same songs. But then when Bat Out Hell 2 came out, it was just on the radio, and this song played. I was like, what the fudge is that? That's amazing. So I turn up the radio, and then they did a whole thing about That Out Hell 2. It was Anything for Love.
Aye.
But then it was an hour dedicated to that album because it had just been released. So then I bought the tape, Bat Out Hell 2, and blew me away. I'd never heard anything like it. And I didn't know there was a Bat Out Hell 1. So then I had to buy that. And then I heard Bat Out Hell. Whoa. And then I see him on VH1 getting interviewed, and he's the coolest guy in the world. He wasn't the coolest guy. He was the funniest guy. Like this rock god, larger than life. And not since then, I've been Meatloaf all the way.
Aye.
And granted, he's pretty much done now. He knows himself as, you know, and that's how I want to get to with wrestling. You'll just know you're done. You know what I mean? Your best days are behind you. It's like, okay.
Before you just, didn't overstay your welcome, just die.
Yeah, I'll referee. There we go. That's what I want to do, though. I want to have my goodbye, right? And I don't want a goodbye like Stu. I just want to, right, that's it, good.
Aye.
Couple of months off, come back as a referee, you know, and then we're off to the races and just hang about with the guys and referee, you know. Like Meatloaf, I'm sure he's coaching people to sing, I don't know.
But since we're going to the music kind of thing, like I've got this thing at a day, and I think you said you've only been to 4 gigs, but we'll work with it.
Yeah. Well, I might be wrong. I can try and think of other ones.
But so
4 gigs that matter: 3 Meatloaf and 1 Europe.
You don't need to go to gigs. You just need to listen to music for this to work. It's like, right, so, like, as wrestlers, we like to daydream booking, like your fantasy matches or whatever. But because this is the Mosh Pit, we're putting together your fantasy gig, your dream gig.
Okay.
So you can
nice
hate.
One.
So you've got.
I like it.
You've got 3 bands. You can hate any era, broken up, alive, dead, whatever you like. So you've got an opener, a mid card, and a headliner.
Right.
So,
wow.
So if you're putting together your dream gig, who's on the card?
And here's, of course, I'm going to ask questions. It's a gig, so the opener can have. Is it not just an opening song? It can have an opening set.
Opening set, and it can make as much or as little sense as you want. You could hit like a massive headliner in your opening slot if you want, because you're booking it.
Yeah, I mean that's it. If I'm realistic, it's actually quite easy for me to do, and we've kind of just mentioned them. But then if I can have a bit of fun as well, you know, because there's some I really like. So the opener would be Bon Jovi, because I think that'd be a hell of an opening gig. The guy can still, with Richie Sambora. Sambora left because John's a bit of a prick. Richie, when I say it, John's a bit of a prick. Yeah, if you ever watch a documentary on Bon Jovi, it really is his band, and he's the boss, and the rest are employees.
Yeah, that's why it's called Bon Jovi.
Yeah, but it really is. It's crazy. It's like you thought they'd be all mates and everything, but nah, they're employees, and he's the boss.
It's like Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses, same thing. It's Axl band.
There you go. But no, I love a bit of Bon Jovi. I always play that to the kids at school, and they hate me for it.
Well, apart from the Young Guns fucking soundtrack they did, because that was fucking horrible.
I don't know, man. Blaze of Glory.
No, Blaze of Glory is good. Everyone else was shite.
The rest of them. I think there's one that was just him and a guitar. I can't remember well. Yeah, but I tell you, Dry County. I love Dry County. You go on YouTube and watch Bon Jovi Dry County live. It's not the Wembley one. It's like Rio or something.
Aye.
But Tico Torres on the drums. Holy crap. He can go. My mid card would be Aerosmith, because again, you know, it could go either way with those two, but I love me a bit of Aerosmith. Steven Tyler. Now, here's the thing with the way I like to wrestle, right? I've said this before to people. I don't just watch wrestlers. Look at other forms of entertainment and how they perform. What I mean is, you look at Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. He's not there to sing. He's there to entertain. If you put, and I said this, did I say this on Billy's podcast? Like, I like Oasis. I really do like Oasis. I like their music. But to watch them live, I can watch the paint dry, and it's more entertaining than watching Oasis live. No. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. It's great music, but they're not performers.
Same kind of vein. Like, I like Radiohead a lot when I was growing up. I would never go to a Radiohead gig because it would just be boring as fuck. Just be bored at my fucking skull.
Yeah. What's the Radiohead song? I'm fading again. That one. That's Radiohead, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I love Radiohead. I would never go to a Radiohead gig.
I just think, it's like wrestling. There's so many good wrestlers out there, but let me invest in you. Make me feel part of the show. Steven Tyler is one of the greatest showmen of all time, and he'll do that. So yeah, that's why Aerosmith. But then my boy Meatloaf got a headline with Meatloaf, and if you don't, you finish with Bat Out of Hell, man. And here's the thing: of all the years I don't want to say studied Meatloaf because that sounds sad. But I've seen all the documentaries. I've read his book. He feels every song that he sings. He portrays the character who's singing that song. That's why it's so theatrical. So when he's singing Anything for Love, this boy would do anything for love, but he's not gonna do that, man. Nah, he's not gonna do that. But that's what I love about Meatloaf. He feels it, and I think that's what's missing with a lot of wrestling. It is just a sequence of moves, isn't it? It's just, they're choreographed moves, and they're good and they're beautiful and they're nice, but you need to feel it, and that's difficult to do. And when something's difficult to do, people will rather do things that they're good at, and that is doing good moves. So therefore, the business does not evolve.
It's like when people always bring up, is it Ricochet? Like, he can do everything. It looks smooth as fuck, but it's like, you're just, at this point, you're just dancing. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And I like Ricochet. I like watching his matches, but Vince is sitting there through the back going, okay, well, that's his spot. That's what he does. So that's what we'll do. So he's never going to get into that higher position, Look at us linking this music gig thing to wrestling, which is what it's all about. But I mean, my favorite match has always been, and it's yet to be topped, is Stone Cold Bret from Mania 13. Yeah. Because you look at the emotion that those two guys are portraying, they feel it. There's a blood feud there, and there's twists and the turns. It's fantastic. So they're feeling it, and that's what's difficult to do. And even myself, I've never fully felt it. I'm trying to think of, some of my favorite matches. The one with Dan, I can remember feeling bits there because he spoke about my kid. That was one of the spots. Aye. And I'm just like, okay, now we can feel it. And we both love that match because we felt something there. But yeah, the Meatloaf's my main event. That was your question. Went off into a tangent.
Aye, but yeah, that's a fairly decent gig. I would go with that.
Yeah. What was your one? I take it you've had the same one with
nobody's ever asked me.
Well, I'm asking you. Go on. What you got?
I'm going to go deep into this because it's
like I did. That's what I did. So go for it.
So my opener, and it's wild to hear, but it's going to be AC/DC. I grew up. The only AC/DC I've ever known was Brian Johnson. I never saw Bon Scott because he died the year before I was born.
Wow.
Okay. So I would take the Highway to Hell tour, AC/DC, just to see Bon Scott and ski. Yeah, I had a whole lot of Rosie, and I had the hits from back in the day. I had the early stuff, the first 4 or 5 albums they did with Bon.
Right.
So that would be my opener.
Nice. Can't argue. I'm there already.
They'll get the crowd up. It's gonna be non-stop from start to finish.
You're going to burn them out, man. You're going to burn them out in the main event. They're going to leave. They got homes to go to.
Well, like my mid card, there was a gig back in 2017. Anthrax played the Barrowlands,
Okay.
And I couldn't go because my seconding was born.
Right.
But it was like the 30th anniversary of Among the Living. So they did a double set that night. They played like all the hits on the first half, and then they came back on and played Among the Living in full, the album, start to finish on the second half, and then like finished with like a couple of the hits. And I like I said, I missed it, and I was fucking gutted about it because they released it like the DVD and the CD in a hand, and it just looks fucking tremendous. And I was like, I wasn't there.
Dude, I'm just nodding my head. I've not heard one Anthrax song in my life. So it's like, Anthrax, yes.
But no.
All I can think of is the line by Eminem about shoving Anthrax on a Tampax. That's a line in an Eminem song.
It's not the same Anthrax.
I don't think so.
In fact, that's who my dog's named after, is Joey. Like the lead singer of Anthrax is Joey Belladonna. That's who my dog's named after.
Can I interject? Are your kids named after anybody? No, you just came up with
Lucy, my daughter, she shares a birthday with Moorhead's drummer.
Okay. You're such a Motorhead fan.
I can always bring it back.
Fucking hell.
You're
such a Motorhead fan.
So we get to the headliner. It's Meatloaf. It's nice.
Oh fuck. There's a split second there. I didn't see my face, but you got to rewind and see that face because I was legit. I know there was a split second of my face like,
really?
We're soulmates. We're soulmates.
No, the headliner's Motorhead, and it's one of two gigs. So they're both for 1981. They played one in Port Vale football stadium. They were meant to play a gig there with Black Sabbath, and Motorhead were on top of. They just released Overkill, Bomber, and Ace of Spades, which is pretty much regarded as being like the three best Motorhead albums they've ever released.
Ace of Spades is the only. You would say Motorhead. That's the only song I can think, and the Triple H one.
Inside the game,
Trying to play the game.
So like Black Sabbath,
gonna kick your ass. That's what he says, isn't it? Time to play the game. We're gonna kick your ass.
But they were meant to play a gig at Port Vale football stadium with Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath shot it because Motorhead were so much on fire, and they pulled out.
Wow.
And they brought in Ozzy to support them, and it was, I don't know if it still is, it was in the Guinness Book of Records as the loudest gig ever. Like they could, there's rumors and like it goes up every fucking time. Like you could hear it for like 5 miles away, 6 miles, 7, and I think it was up to about 9 miles away at one point. But they legit had to bus out. Like there was like old folk around the stadium. They put them on buses and busted the Blackpool for the day because it was so loud.
That's amazing.
So
it's stuff like
So it's either that gig or they released the live album, which was with the first ever live album to go straight in at number 1 in the UK charts. Was No Sleep to Hammersmith.
Okay. What year was that?
1981. So it'd be one of the gigs, like the recordings came for like 2 or 3 different, like 2 nights in Leeds and 2 nights in Newcastle. It wasn't actually Hammersmith. Like Hammersmith was the last date of the tour. But the recordings actually came for Leeds and Newcastle. So it'd be one of those nights they played there. So it's one of those 2 gigs. It's hard to either one would be fine with me, but that's my headliner is Motorhead for 1981.
That's not bad, my man. That's not bad. I like your thought behind it as well. It's just Anthrax I couldn't tell you anything about, but Motorhead I've got time for, but I've never, maybe you're the same with Meatloaf. I can only name a couple of Motorhead songs, you know what I mean?
Aye.
But that's it. Did you have friends like you grew up liking the same band? You know what I mean? Like I had 2 Meatloaf friends, you know what I mean? I think I had 2 wrestling friends as well, but then you pick up other ones here and there.
No,
but
I had guys who were fans of Motorhead, but it wasn't their band. Again, Iron Maiden was their band, or Metallica was their band, but like I'm the only guy that I know like Motorhead is my main band. That's
when I first started uni, I wore a Meatloaf t-shirt, right? That I got one of the gigs, one of the shows. And I didn't wear it every day, obviously, but I wore it a lot. and it was like 2 years after we were, you know, in third year at uni or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And a couple of guys in the first year had left and had never seen them again. But it was like a couple of years after, I was out clubbing with my mate, and he knew these two guys, which I didn't know about. So of course they came over and like, oh, you're that guy from uni. You remember? I was like, yeah, I remember your faces. Do you remember me? Yeah, you're the guy with the Meatloaf t-shirt. We thought you were such a nerd. You know, like, they thought I was this complete tool because I wore a Meatloaf t-shirt. And I'm so proud of that Meatloaf t-shirt, but I didn't know they all thought I was a nerd or something, you know? So that's why I asked.
But that's the thing. Like, you know? I was mad into Motorhead and whatever when I was at, like, going through high school or whatever. And you get kind of have these stating it. I look at this cunt, he's fucking 20 years later, they're all wearing them.
There you go. Well, fuck, all the kids are wearing them. You know, the Rolling Stones logo, the power of a logo, you know? What's your favorite Led Zeppelin song? I don't know. Well, why are you wearing the fucking top then? You know? But what's funny is, like, I think back now and it's like, you know, no wonder I didn't have a girlfriend wearing a Meatloaf t-shirt. You know, there's not many girls that go for a Meatloaf guy, you know. It's like, oh, you like Meatloaf? Ooh, you're hot. Like, okay. But
like,
no.
No, I've got some t-shirts like that. I didn't collect. I collect a handful of things. I need and then major, but t-shirts are my big things. Like if I go to a gig, I get a t-shirt. So I've got like, it's in triple figures. The t-shirts I've got upstairs.
Jesus Christ.
And I've got t-shirts up there. I would never get me pulled. Like I've got Journey t-shirts and Billy Idol t-shirts. And no danger, I'll never pull me any of them. Like, look, I'm married now.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, I always wear wrestling t-shirts. Same thing. Luckily, I'm married. You know, like, but for me, the wrestling t-shirts, they're just. I like the tri-blend ones, right? Plus, I like the design, and like I've got the natural disasters one. You know, with earthquake and typhoon, and I often go to pick up Owen, and it's been beautiful the last couple of days with just my jeans and my natural disasters t-shirt. So here's me picking up Owen with these two fat guys on my t-shirt, you know, and I don't care, you know what I mean? It's like maybe when you're younger, you care a little bit more about what you wear. I'm genuinely cool being 42, wearing a t-shirt with two fat guys going to pick up my son.
No, I was the same. You know? Like I've got one with Dusty Rhodes on it, like sporty gear, like big fat guys, like
yeah. I think the natural disasters is probably my most uncool wrestling t-shirt. Well, I say uncool, cool to us, but to the outside world, it's like, oh my god. But I'm sure, you know, the people driving by remember Dusty Rhodes from when they're younger. Oh, I remember Dusty Rhodes. So yeah, never be ashamed of what you wear, kids. Be who you are. Be who you want to be. You know.
Yeah.
But can I just add as well, like, when you have a show, you need that piss break match. You know, you normally match number 5, right? Yeah. Now that match number 5, it's not saying we're putting on a shit match. We're just wanting a match that's going to bring everybody down for the main event. So my question to you is, you've got Motorhead as your main event after Anthrax. What band would you put in there? And again, it's not putting in a shitty band, but what band would you put in? Right, guys, if you need to go take a piss, take a piss. But if you're not, you're really going to enjoy this. It's something different. Who would you put in as your match number 5 before Motorhead?
Oh, see, it's a toughie.
It is a tough one.
You can go any number of ways with us.
Have we got time for another piss break and then come back and then spend a couple of minutes? Right.
Yeah.
I'll do a piss break.
Aye, plenty of time.
Right. Do a piss break, come back, and then, yeah. Right.
I'll think about that.
Give you time to piss. No, sorry. I'm on number 2. You know what I mean? Fucking bleezing. Telling you, man, we're in sync with this pissing, aren't we?
It's like just like being in the pub. You get
okay, just don't go at the same time though, eh? People might start talking. Yeah, but yeah, you have a good think.
Yeah, although I did think I was on about Europe earlier. Europe and it was Foreigner. That's who they're tuning me. Whitesnake and Foreigner in Europe.
Again, I don't want to know what love is. That's the one.
Yeah,
good tune. They're German, aren't they? Foreigner.
I thought it was slightly American, but yeah, I don't know.
Foreigner, I'm pretty sure Foreigner are German. Gonna take a little time. This is my German accent. Let me Google it. Foreigner. Foreigner super group. That's what it says in Google. They're a super group playing at the Hydro in 2021.
Aye.
Yeah?
With Europe and Whitesnake.
Oh, hi. You said that, didn't you? British and American rock supergroup. So why do I think
you thinking the
why do I think they're
Scorpions?
German? Did they do I'd Want to Know What Love Is?
No,
The Scorpions did that.
They did Rock You Like a Hurricane.
And Draw the Line. Who did that one? Draw the line.
Toto.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, we're getting deep in the fucking 80s.
Or was that Walk? Or was it Walk the Line?
Walk the Line.
Hold the line. Hold the line.
That was it.
Hold the line. Dun, dun. They did Africa.
Africa. That was the other word I was going to say.
Oh man, they're good. I like that. And but no, Foreigner. So sorry, who Foreigner? Is that who it would be?
No, it just popped
you
into my mind when I was
that.
thinking about stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it might. Like I would maybe go for
Hold
something
on,
like that.
I've remembered as well the boxer who comes and goes as a journeyman. Journeyman boxer. Look, see, all it takes is a piss, and we remember everything.
Like a journeyman footballer plays for a million different clubs. Aye, yeah.
So they get in a journeyman boxer to fight all the boxers. Right. Sorry, I knew we would.
All the throwbacks.
Yeah, that's it. This is the closing part because we're finishing off everything we said. This is the go home cue. We're getting the go home cue.
Tying up by the loose ends. So yeah, like I think like I was gonna go Jerry Lee.
Jerry Lee as Jerry Lee Lewis.
No, Jerry Lee, near the paedophile. Jerry Lee. He was in Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay.
Like he's a western, country western kind of singer.
Okay.
Like he sung the theme tune for Smokey and the Bandit.
Good tune.
Fucking Eastbound and Down.
Right.
Could be that because he does a lot of it's a bit different than else.
Super.
But then while I was thinking about Foreigner, I was thinking I'd maybe just hail like Europe or something. Like a lot of folk will only ken maybe a couple of their songs. So like that again, I will go for a piss and then they'll play the biggies at the end.
Yeah. And it's still a good little band, nothing too heavy, but it's good sort of wind down before the Motorhead. That's not too bad at all.
So yeah, it would be something like kind of Europe or Journey or kind one of these.
Yeah.
Although thinking now, I'd maybe go ZZ Top, just because.
Yeah.
Because I love ZZ Top. Like now, I'm thinking of like old 80s bands, 70s, 80s bands. So yeah.
Yeah. Songs you can sing and have a laugh to.
Aye.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Somebody like everybody in the crowd will ken the hits.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to be a booker, and I'm going to get so much heat for this, right? If you're on match number 5, it's got to be a women's match, right? So much heat. So much heat. It's the piss break match. So I'll put it on a women's match. I am joking when I say that, right? And that's why I'm saying I'm going to get so much heat. But I would have a female singer in mind, right? But not because it's the piss break. And for the record, I think I am more entertained by the women in WWE than I am the men. You know what I mean? Since Bailey's been gone, it's not been as good. But I think Bailey's one of the top classes. So I'm toning down my heat from saying that I'm going to have a woman before my main event. But no, for me, you know who I'd have? Beyonce. She was on the telly the other day, right? And I watched it. And that girl can go. And she was fun. You know what I mean? A girl could dance, girl could sing. This girl got sex appeal. I was loving it.
See, he was Conor Ingles' headliner, I think. I want to say.
Beyonce.
I'm sure she was his headliner.
It's just because she was good and I enjoyed it. And I would watch that and then I would be over the moon for Meatloaf. But
saying about female singers, would you hear Cher come out as a cameo during Meatloaf's set?
Fuck yeah. Oh, you know it. And I don't think, no, I know for a fact they've never done it live. Cher and Meatloaf have never done it live together. It's always been, is it Patty Russo or the other one, which I should know. But no, that Dead Ringer for that's class. But he does a lot of duets with women. In his last album, his singing voice is so fucked. He sang most of the album with women, so they could hit the high notes. So he didn't have to hit the high notes.
Working smart.
But when you watch Beyonce sing Halo live, dude, that's it for me. That would be the spot. That would probably be the song out of the whole concert that steals the show. I'd love Meatloaf. I'd finish with Bat Out of Hell. Start with Living on a Prayer. But when you got Halo, it's like, what do you enjoy the best? You know what? Halo by Beyonce. That girl can sing. So
see, we went to
cheers to
Sonosphere Festival. 2010, I want to say, and like the Friday night, the opening night, they had like they didn't have a lot of big band. Like they save the big bands for the Saturday, Sunday nights. But like the Friday night, they had, I can't remember who was headlining, but before they came on, they had Bjorn Again, the ABBA tribute band.
You loved it, didn't you?
Fuck it. Like my mum was a fucking, like, I ken more ABBA fans, more ABBA lyrics than I care to fucking mention. So like, but to see that amount of metal guys just singing ABBA songs, it's weird as fuck.
That's funny. That's good.
Like, really getting into it. I'm like, how fag.
Yeah, man. I like. What song? Like, you remember Macy Gray? And do you remember that song she did in '99? I tried it, I tried to walk away. Go. Yeah. I had a friend from New Zealand, and was it Metallica? It might have been Motorhead. It was Motorhead and Metallica he liked, but he was wishing for them to cover that song because he thought that would be a great metal song.
Aye.
You know what I mean? So is there a song out there that you think, man, a metal band needs to cover it? So for example, remember Baby Hit Me One More Time?
Yeah.
It was covered by the Scottish band. Was it Travis? Somebody covered it. Travis possibly, or maybe Stereophonics did it. But it was so cool hearing Hit Me Baby One More Time. I think it was Travis, by a band and a guitar. You know what I mean?
Aye.
And I love the idea of taking a song and totally metalifying it, if that's a word. Can you think of a song out there? Because I think Halo by Beyonce, if that was done by a metal band and some guitar, nice.
You know, there's like,
that's what you want to think about. Like,
we've got a group chat with a handful of the guys, like Thunder, Caleb, Scotty, Martin, like a lot of the proper metal guys. And I mentioned to them, like, we often bring up just random stuff. And I brought up a game that me and my buddies used to play. And it was like, try and find the obscure cover or metal song. So we'd be finding like Peruvian flute bands and covering all these other weird shit. Like, and I've always been a massive fucking a mariachi guy. Like, I love mariachi music. I fucking love it. It doesn't make any sense, but I love it.
Yeah.
And recently I found this mariachi band that just does metal covers, and it made my fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought to put mariachi band and metal band together. Like, I never thought to search for it anywhere. And one day on Spotify, I just happened across it. I was like, this is tremendous.
That's cool.
Yeah. As far as some like a song to be in a metal style, I didn't like.
I ended up going down the YouTube rabbit hole, as they say, and it was a couple of guys with cellos, and they would play random songs. I think they were Italian or something, and that was really cool. I think they did "Living on a Prayer" with one of them, and it was really cool. And when they hit the beat, stuff like that's pretty cool. I just went down it. It was at work. It was some time off, so I thought, "Oh, here, look at this."
Although mentioning Toto, the amount of different covers there is at Africa, the different musical styles. That's
really,
that's a lot.
It's a great tune, man. That's a great tune.
If you search for like any musical style, you'll find a cover of Africa somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I do like that song. Yeah, it is a good tune. Yeah. Gonna take a lot to take me. Have you seen South Park when they have the member berries? Are you a South Park man? South Park's the greatest show on TV, and they had these things called member berries.
I remember, yeah.
I remember, and they were rocking out in the car. Gonna take a lot to take me with. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, fun times. But yeah, I think thinking of "Baby One More Time" with Britney Spears, that'd be a good one to metal.
Aye.
That would work well. That's a good tune.
But it's like, in fact, just yesterday, maybe before, Metallica and Miley Cyrus. Like,
really,
they released this box set, and they had a heap of different folk covering their songs by Metallica, and Miley Cyrus was one of them. And she's got a voice for that kind of music.
Yeah, as she does. Yeah, I like Miley. She's classy. No, I do like her though. I'm not saying I'm taking a mick. She's classy. She's it's a rock chick as well. But she is a rock chick. She'll love all these rock bands and whatnot. Yeah.
But there was one for a couple of years ago. It was you remember Kesha?
Kesha.
I can't remember what song she did. Obviously, someone a couple of she had
Keisha.
Keisha.
Maybe I'm pronouncing it Keisha. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong.
She had a couple of hits back in like the early 2000s or mid 2000s, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's done a couple of like metal kind of songs with Eagles of Death Metal, and she's this. And in fact, Alice Cooper. She did a couple of songs with Alice Cooper. And it's like one of those you wouldn't put them together. It's like because she's not got the look or she's this completely different genre of music.
Yeah.
But her voice just fits it somehow.
Yeah. I'll hate check it out. Keisha. I'm sure it's Keisha. Quiche.
Well, it's Kesha, but it's with the S is with a dollar sign.
Did she do a song for WWE? You know what? I'm just thinking of the random people that make songs for WWE have a dollar sign in their name. I'm sure that's how you'd be cool. We should have Mickey Vago and Mr. P. Somewhere shoving a dollar sign. You know,
it's either a dollar sign or a Z. A Z where an S should be. That's
yeah. We see our work. We had a guy cover just before summer. He worked for us for a couple of months. He was retired, but he just covered. Lovely guy. And every Thursday we would just have a rock Thursday. Like we'd have our lunch and we'd each put on a rock performance on YouTube. You know, and we could watch it. So I remember making them watch Adam Levine sing Purple Rain. Right? Ken Adam Levine.
Yeah.
Is he Maroon 5? Is he? He's Maroon 5.
Yeah.
He's the other one. He's one of them. But his rendition of Purple Rain, fucking amazing. And but he made us watch Led Zeppelin. We're going into the Hall of Fame. So of course, when you go into the Hall of Fame, you have all these other bands sing your songs. You can sit there and watch. So Heart, remember Heart?
Heart, brilliant.
Yeah,
I love Heart.
They performed Stairway to Heaven. Okay. So of course the guitar solo in Stairway to Heaven is just pure amazing. But they're sitting there watching it, and it was a fantastic performance by Heart. Just go on YouTube and see it. Heart sing Stairway to Heaven. But just looking at the guys Led Zeppelin watching a band sing their song, and they'd obviously seen other bands, you can tell they're raging. It's like they're fucking doing it wrong. They're doing it wrong. Billy, they've got the wrong key. Oh, I should something. Not the one's called Billy, but it might. But I'm sure there's been other halls of fames where they're like, I think Metallica are maybe in it as well, and all these bands are singing Metallica songs, and they just have to sit there and watch these people sing their songs. You know, it's like imagine another wrestler going out and trying to do a tribute to you and doing all your greatest hits, but badly. You know, it's like, oh,
you see that? I did that at the gala once. I did as an Archer's Shining comeback or whatever and tagged them in just to see what he would do.
Did he do the same Shining comeback?
he came in and just tagged back out again. He then left.
Dude, that's smart. That is smart. That is good stuff.
Didn't clue him in. I clued the other tag team. I was like, I'm gonna come in and just take an Archer shit and tag him in and see what he does.
Brilliant. I love the fact he just tagged you out. Right, fuck it.
I'm out. No, back in.
I'm getting paid anyway, you know.
Well, me for a gala.
We'll make that change. We'll form a union, won't we? Form a union. We'll put some money in. Oh no. Oh well, we're not getting paid. Yeah. The end always lies in the beginning, doesn't it?
Yeah. After saying that, it's something I've missed. Like being to the lockdown, it's just the galas. Just gonna kind of fuck a bit.
Yeah. That just fucking about in general, you know. And I was saying this to somebody. Like I liked it when shows started at 12, right? And you'd go there and you just got to chill for a bit. You just got to have a laugh. You just got to chat. You got time to warm up. When we start shows late, like, you know, kickoffs at 7, you know, doors open at 7 and we get there at 5. It's like you're just rushing. And you don't get to soak in the whole atmosphere, but I like that. You know?
Did you work the show we did at Longskirk when you did break in?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I remember that one. I took on Alan at that. Yeah. Because we're waiting forever to get in.
And then we found a window upstairs that just happened to be open. I was like, we can get up there and get it open. And then just as we got open, the boy turned up with the key.
Aye, that's it. The best one, I don't know if you were around. I don't think you were, because I was still training at the time, was Cullen, the famous Cullen.
No, I never worked Cullen.
And in Cullen, it was, no one was there to meet us to open up the venue.
Aye.
So we're just kind of like, is the door open? Door's open. Walked in. There's no one there. No one. It's like, should we set up the ring? Okay, set up the ring. Still no one there. End of the show. Hadn't seen anybody. Took the ring off. We went. Shut the door. Like there was no one. like not anywhere. So anyone could turn up to Cullen Town Hall, just open the door and you go. So yeah.
Although, did you try the door at Dennis's wedding?
Dennis's wedding? What was Dennis's wedding? Oh, yeah, that's right. Me and Martin. That's right. He's got pictures. That's right. I totally forget. I've got a bad memory like that. But yeah, we did. Did we not get? No, we never got in, did we?
No, I think it was shot.
It would have been locked. Yeah, that spoils that one. I remember that. I totally forgot. We went back to Cullen for his wedding. That's it.
Yeah,
good times. Good wedding.
Aye, because we were at the we were privileged enough to be the daytime. That we were just the riffraff. We got to come in the evening. And I saw the picture on Facebook. I was like, why are they there? Why are they taking a picture outside Cullen?
Yeah, we left early. Yeah, we left early because Annalise was pregnant. Aye. So she had the whole heat thing going on. The heat was too much for her. You know, I mean, like if we had look at us guys, you know, if we were pregnant and had a baby, couple of paracetamol, back at work the next day. Yeah, she's going on about having 6 months off. I'm trying to get heat for that than the comment I made earlier about match number 5, but no. I'm joking about the pregnancy thing, people. This is what happens when Mr. P is drinking the Green King.
An American IPA, the Green King.
I know. There's my American IPA, all crumpled up, being badass. But yeah.
But yeah, that's, I think, going by this clock, we've gone over 2 hours now.
Yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that, man. Yeah, it's you know, it's all good. I don't know if I could go 3 anyway. I'm needing a piss again. So you know.
there is one more I want to get into. I've got one in my notes I just wanted to get.
Go for it.
And it was, again, you're a big WCW fan because you always bring it up at training or whatever. So why is the Battlebowl the best thing that WCW ever created?
Right. You know what? The Battlebowl, it's similar to when you talk about Rocky V. You talk about the story behind Battlebowl, the story behind Rocky V. You know, he's retiring, he's teaching a young up-and-comer. Young up-and-comer makes some money. He gets a bit too big-headed, wants to take on his coach. Coach wins. Right, there you go. Great story. Execution also good. Same with the Battlebowl. You know, imagine a Wrestlezone Battlebowl. This is where it gets wonderful.
So, I know you've pitched this umpteen times. Yeah, you keep trying to get it off the ground.
Oh. The greatest pitch of all time, right? I'll pitch it and then the fans can decide. And if they like it, do something about it. I don't know what. Tweet your hashtag YOLO, picture of a whale, smiley face. So we have pre-shows, right? The idea behind a pre-show is to get people to spend a little bit extra money to watch a sort of, I don't want to say bonus match, but a match that will get them in the mood for something. Aye. So, you know, if you don't want to spend that extra money, you'll get 6 matches. If you do, you'll get 7 matches. The problem is some people will only pay if they know one of their favorite wrestlers is going to be in that pre-show match. So what you do in the pre-show is you make that a Battlebowl match. So just before the match is announced, so you don't know who's going to be, you pay your pre-show money, you don't know what it's going to be. All of a sudden, Mr. P is paired with William Sterling against Scotty Swift and Alan Sterling, right? That's a tag team I want to see, right? That's the pre-show match. We have that match. Of course, me and Bill, we and William, we go over, right? Because I'm booking. So we're then put forward a couple of shows down the line. So for the first sort of 10 shows, there's 10 tag team matches.
You've got your brackets here.
So you've got 20 winners. Okay. So then the last show of the year at Christmas Chaos, the pre-show is a 20-man battle royal. Okay. So people will say to pay to see that 20-man battle royal. One man wins it, which is me, right? So now the main event of the Christmas Chaos show is the champion against me, right? Or the winner of the Battlebowl, which is the pre-show, right? So it makes logical sense because there's stakes. There's something at stake here. If you win the Battlebowl, if you can work with your tag team partner and win, you then have to get the Battlebowl, right? Win the Battle Royal, and then you get to face the champion. I think that's a beautiful story, you know? And the main thing about the Battlebowl is that wild card tag team match. You don't know who you're going to team up with. You know, imagine you and Ted O'Keefe against Archer and Dino Del Monte. Yes, please. What's going to happen? What story can you tell? And you could tell a great story from that. And people say, yeah, but what would you do with the original card? Well, you just keep it the same. Me and Bill win our match, and then later on the show, I'm taking on somebody else. But it could also further storylines, because all of a sudden we could have a feud with me and Scotty Swift. Scotty Swift doesn't like the way that I cheated to win, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's my pitch. I just like the idea of going all the way. Like, that's why I pitched, I don't know this, I didn't pitch this. I don't pitch anything. I just mention it. Like, I said to somebody, imagine Johnny Lyons. You know how he did his retirement thing with the steel cage match? Imagine if the pre-show of his retirement show was a battle royal and he won it. So actually his last match was against Damien for the title. You know what I mean? Just makes it a little bit more special. You know, he's got that Battlebowl, not that Battlebowl match, but that battle royal. He won the battle royal. Now he's going to take on Damien, but we all know he's going to retire. But what if we actually put him over? What if we actually have Johnny Lyons win? Then you've got them, you know? Like me and Damien, we did a retirement match for the title. We could have built it like that. Imagine that. I had to win the battle royal. That would be cool. So yeah, the thing is with WCW, they did a lot of bad stuff, a lot of corny stuff. But I think back in the day, if you didn't have Sky TV, Saturdays like at 4 o'clock, World of Sport was long gone. You had WCW Worldwide.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You had WCW Worldwide, and that was, you know, I remember having conversations in first year, probably all the way through to 5th year, so maybe 95, 96, and that was constantly on Saturday afternoons, was WCW. And then there was a mismatch of it being on Channel 5 and 99, 2000 and whatnot. But yeah.
That's why because I like we used to get like my granny is Sky. She used to like tape the pay-per-views.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like WCW was the only regular wrestling we got because it was on Channel 4 or it was on at the time.
Yeah. Oh, well, so I went to WCW in Aberdeen because it was on Saturday afternoons. They did a UK tour. So in March of '93, my dad took me to WCW at the Exhibition Centre, and what's his name? What's his Jeeves Winchester was also at the same show. I think someone else was as well. It might have been Malice or Bill.
Possibly,
but,
yeah.
Oh my God, what a great card that was! Because I remember I would have been in 3rd year at school. Because the day of the show, I was rehearsing for Oliver, their musical, and I was Mr. Noah Claypole, if you've watched Oliver. So I had to leave the rehearsals early to go with my dad to WCW. And the card's online. I've Googled it a few times over my life, and you can see the card. But British Bulldog against Ravishing Rick Rude. Amazing. I still remember things Ravishing Rick Rude, like he did the snot onto British Bulldog. I remember that. Vader against Sting, and Sting had just won the title in Ireland. Were you there?
No, I've seen the card. Yeah,
you've seen the card. Vinny Vegas and Mick Foley.
Okay, Johnny B. Bad was there.
Johnny B. Bad. I want Scotty Flamingo. Yeah, who was Raven. I want to say Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff against Michael P.S. Hayes. Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham, but that didn't happen. Like Barry Windham came out, and then Dustin Rhodes jumped him, and they had a melee, and they went to the back. Heavy Metal Van Hammer. Who the fudge did he take on? Because you know why I remember it? Because that's where to this day, that's where I stole boom, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap. You know that? You know when I do that, I got that off Heavy Metal Van Hammer because I thought it was so cool. I want to say the guy who played Max Payne. Max Payne. Are you looking at it just now?
I'm trying to see. I'm looking for it, yeah.
WCW 93. March, yeah.
Johnny B. Bad, Scotty Flamingo, Van Hammer against Max Payne.
Boom.
Paul Orndorff against P.S. Hayes.
Michael P.S. Hayes.
Jack, Vinny Vegas. Barry Windham and Dusty Rhodes. Sting Vader and Dave Boy Smith and Rick Rude. So yeah.
Got it right. But that'll say Davey Boy Smith, Rick Rude was the main event. It wasn't it?
It was that's the last one.
No, it was just after intermission. It was Sting and Vader. I'm convinced. I remember reading that, and I'm like, nah, they were definitely before or after intermission. Because Bulldog was jacked, just jacked. But no, that was cool. Also, when I went to America, one last thing. When I went to America to work at summer camps in 2000, the summer of 2000, we went to a WWF house show at the Bilo Centre in Greenville. And me and two of my female colleagues, just friends, but lovely girls, we went without tickets. We thought, oh, we'll just scalp tickets. Just put up our hands like that, try and get tickets. And it was just a house show, right? Bilo Centre in Greenville. And we got there. No one was selling tickets. No one. This is how sold out this show was. We couldn't get tickets anywhere.
Year was
Everyone
up?
was in 2000, summer of 2000, at their peak, right? Or I would still say Mania 17 was the peak. Mania 17 was the peak. You're going to get higher than Mania 17. And anyway, so we ended up leaving. And just as we're leaving, there was this guy, are you looking for tickets? Yeah, we are. Yeah. Just have these. I've got 3 of them. Have them. So what? And he's like, I won them in a radio contest, but I'm not going to bother going in. You can have them. So we got them for free. so we went in, and so we missed the first match. But I want to say there was 20,000. We can check online. It was maybe 10 or 15, but this place was packed. But what I remember most, and this was summer of 2000, is every single one of the guys was jacked to the gills. Like, I'm telling you, every single one of them was on the juice. There was no denying it. You should have seen Test. Test was huge. I mean, we weren't at the front. We were just at the start of where it starts to go up. You know, the tiered seating. But I just remember the girls saying the same thing. These guys are also huge. And the main event was The Rock and Kurt Angle. And The Rock did this promo at the end. And it was like a 20-minute promo. But the crowd were eating every word. Like, talk about interaction. Back and forth. No wonder he's where he's at. He knew it back in 2000. He knew what the business was about. And it ain't about what we were talking about earlier, about 5-star chain wrestling. Nothing against it. It's about getting the crowd invested in you, the interaction. The Rock did exactly what he was doing 20 years ago. And to this, you know, that was the greatest show I've ever been to. And it was a house show. The only big name that wasn't there, I remember, was Triple H. He wasn't there, but all the other big names were. So I think Taker was there. I want to say Taker and Kane were teaming at the time. Anyway, I can't remember.
That's the only one I've got that I've never seen wrestle live is Taker, because he was, apart from Raven, Taker was my guy.
Is that right? I knew Raven was your guy. I remember you saying that. But never knew about Taker. Yeah.
No, Taker was my original guy up until I saw ECW and Raven. I was like, nah, Raven's my guy now. But no, Taker, I've always fucking loved Taker.
Who's your top 3? Who's your top 3 guys? I would say top 5, but just for time, who's your top 3?
Taker, Raven. Fuck. Probably Austin. Although
and it will change.
I thought I missed a lot with, like I said, like I missed a lot of stuff when he was really getting hot. But yeah,
oh, it's amazing. Yeah,
going back and watching it, I was like, Austin's he's
Austin '98 was so entertaining.
Although I always joke with Dynamite, it's fucking Kama. Like I always joke, like, his gimmick was 20 years too fucking early.
Yeah. Are we talking Papa Shango?
Papa Shango, but he was the ultimate fighting machine or ultimate fighting champion. Like, no, Kama,
and originally had to wear the white T-shirt underneath the red because he had all the tattoos. And that was, I remember that. Kama Mustafa, Kama the Supreme Fighting Machine. No, for me it would always be Brett at the top. Eddie's there. You know what I mean? Eddie. Like my second favorite match is Eddie and Brock. I think that story is beautiful. You know what I mean? And I probably have Austin in there. You know, Brett, Austin, Eddie. But it'll change. Tomorrow it'll be Sean.
I could be Flair or Eddie fucking Flair, guys.
That's it. And you'll know, sometimes you'll just watch a bunch of matches. Like I had a Flair thing. I'd watch each of Flair matches on the network. And I was just like, wow, this guy's so good. So good. And he still is, you know. He still is.
But it's like with the call during training. It was like, I can bring a match to the fucking table or whatever it was. And guys were bringing matches. Like, you wouldn't have realised the guys would bring to the table.
Yeah.
Like, sure the one I brought was it Jericho, Lance Storm for, was it One Night Stand?
One Night Stand, yeah, good match, good opener.
Good
opener, yeah. That was a good one. Yeah.
And
Lance had a couple of good, he had a good, him and Edge at SummerSlam. That's when everyone goes to. Yeah, Lance could go. Yeah.
Because I remember the one, was it Vader and Flair? The one
that's my one. Yeah, I fucking love that. Because that's very much like the Eddie Brock match, just the way the story they told and but the selling from Vader, people don't realize he sold perfectly for that match. No overselling, no underselling. Everything was appropriate and believable, but he was still that monster, you know. No, I'd recommend all you guys who need educated out there to watch Flair, Big Van Vader, Starrcade '93. My brain was catching up with my mouth there. Did you see that? I was slowing my mouth down so my brain could catch up. But no, that's another top 10 sort of match.
Well, like you're saying with like passing on knowledge or whatever, that's the same. Like if never often guys come to me for fucking advice or whatever, but if the day I tell them go and watch the older shit because nobody's doing any of that shit anymore. Yeah, everybody's doing this fucking Ricochet or fucking Kenny Omega. They're not doing that these days. Didn't do that. Go back 20 years, 30 years. Go watch that shit. Nobody's doing that anymore.
I was just speaking to Sean there about the super kick because he's I shouldn't say it, Sean has just started watching AEW and he's like, Dave, you ever watch this AEW? I say I tape it every week, but I don't always watch it. I'll put it on in the background if no one's around, and it'll be on. And the crowd are the best thing about AEW, no doubt about it. But he was going on about nobody's selling. And they're all doing flippy things, and half the time they're botching. And I mentioned about everyone just does a super kick to the point where I don't want to see super kicks anymore. It's just overdone. It's just everyone does a super kick. Stop. It used to be a finish, and now it's just as bad as an arm drag.
It's what the DDT, like what the DDT became. The DDT did the same thing, and now it's a super kick.
Yeah, it's just, and this is just me. People, I love the super kick. It's great. It's fine. It's cool. We can all have different opinions. But yeah, I'm just fed up with the super kick. But you're right. Go back and the old stuff and see what's old. Like, it sounds really bad, but I'll just, if I'm bored, I'll shove on a '94 episode of Raw because there's lots of squash matches. And there's like the Smoking Guns squashed this young tag team, and they literally beat the shit out of them. And it's just cool to watch, it's, and then I'll see one little move. And WCW, if you ever see a Canyon match, Canyon was amazing. He's doing stuff I have never seen since. If you're going to steal off anybody, steal off Canyon, because he did some amazing stuff. But yeah, that's why it's good going back to the network and watching these old things, And talk about people coming to you for advice. I remember there was a while there we had a lot of new guys come in, and everybody would be in their ear telling, like Jimbo. I remember Jimbo came in, everyone would be giving him advice, and I just thought, I'm not going to bother giving him advice. If he wants advice,
if he asks for it,
come and ask. And I never did ask him. I kept meaning to ask him because we became quite friendly later on. I was like, Jimbo, did you ever think I was like not approachable, or did you ever think that I was being mean to you because I was the only one that wasn't going to him with advice? And he never did ask that. We never had this conversation, but I'd like him to know it's not because I didn't like him. It's just because if he wants my advice, I'm happy to give it to him. But I know what it's like as well. You have so many people telling you things. Just pick what you like. Oh, I agree with you. I like that. I agree with you. Right? But don't discount what other people are saying. And that's why there's been a few times when I have offered my advice to people, and I can tell by the look on their face, they're just like, cheers. Like, who are you? What have you done? You're just Mr. P. You don't get booked to other companies, so you can't be that good. I don't kiss ass. I don't suck up to people who can get me bookings. It's, I just enjoy doing what I do, but it doesn't mean discount my advice. It means appreciate that I'm giving you advice. If you don't like it, it's great. Move on. But you always show respect. That's why when I speak to guys, I say it all the time. Malice, Mikey Innes is brilliant for feeding things off back and forward. And I'll take his advice, and I've used his advice. But I can imagine other people going, he's just a referee. I'm not going to listen to him. It's like, well, you're doing yourself any favors. So I do, yeah. It's just about, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. just appreciate the advice you're given, because we do all want to get, make things better and make the place better. And if someone's having a shitty match, we'll let you know it's a shitty match and here's why. But it's my opinion,
Just shut up and listen.
I'm turning it to Scotty. I can imagine this is like Scotty. This is exactly what Scotty said. Me and Scotty have the same conversation. When me and Scotty speak, it's like speaking to a mirror because we're like, yep, same thing. Totally agree. So, yeah, we're getting in Scotty Swift mode. Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
I said that's been a decent amount of time, I think.
Yeah, we'll wrap up. We'll do the go home queue. I enjoyed I enjoyed that, and the music chat. I think there's scope there. I like the music chat. That's good. I like talking about music.
Well,
I could talk about Meatloaf for hours. You know?
Yeah, so we're coming back for a Meatloaf special at some point.
We should do like a watch along with one of his shows or just one of his songs. You know, wouldn't that be sad if I made this was the picture, but I made you just listen to a song, you know? And there's so many good ones. The last album was all right, but it was a lot of old Jim Steinman songs because it was him and Jim Steinman. But Jim Steinman took ages to write new songs, so they just took ones from, you know, like Bonnie Tyler had done them, you know, 30 years earlier. But yeah, Bat Out of Hell 3, that's a good album. I think you'd like that one. A couple of good tunes on that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll put it on the list.
We need to wrap up. Yeah, we need to wrap it up. And Beyonce, Halo. That's a good one.
Yeah, you say wrap it up. I've not actually got a close. We're finished now.
All right. Well, no, we can. Think of a good close. What's a good line?
Like I said, Thunder the most professional close last time. The last fucking
I've got to top that. I've got to top that.
Well, we're gonna. If you want to do the finish, you can do the finish.
Yeah, because we can still record. Hold on, just flex there. There you go. For the ladies that I've offended by saying your match number 5. Oh, that's even more offensive now, isn't it?
You're verging on mansplaining there, I believe.
I know. No, how can I close this? Because I often close a lesson with the kids, you know, with some inspirational thing that they just kind of roll their eyes to.
See, this is the thing with promos. I'm fucking horrible at closing promos.
Yeah. Oh, well, but then let's just treat it like a promo and just close with the one line that if I was a heel, this is the one line I would use. See, this is the thing, right? I'll probably never turn heel, right? And I'm cool with that. I actually love being a babyface. I really do enjoy being a babyface.
Yeah.
If I was to go heel, I know Mr. Patterson, teacher, gimmick. I'd have fun. I'd have fun with it. I'm confident. Home run. I'm confident it'd be a home run. But I'm content with being a babyface. Absolutely. Still love the challenge, right? But I would have a go home line if I was a heel. So we can do it this way, right? So you ready for my go home line? Because it's a really good one. And I think Mikey Innes probably deserves the credit for it, or he at least set a little bit of it. We'll just give him the credit because he is good, Mikey. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I was a heel, and this is what I'm getting at. The fans, right? They're convinced I'm going to turn heel. They keep talking about it when I see them. They're like, one of the dads was like, when you turn heel, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people. And I'm like, am I turning heel? Does he know something?
When? Just when?
Am I turning heel? Because again, it's like that. You know, you're the babyface. I think you're going to turn heel. But I've built it up a lot now, haven't I? I've built it up. It's probably not going to be that good. But if I was a heel, and this was the end of my promo, I would say something along the lines of, when the bell rings, your lesson begins. And it would fade to black. That'd be the end of the promo. Because then you're like, ooh, when the bell rings, he's going to get taught a lesson. That's right. He's going to get his ass whooped. You know, that's what the fans would be saying. There you go.
Yeah. Play School's Out. That's it. We're finished.
Yes. Play School's Out. When the bell rings, your lesson begins. All right, and you can. I always remember, Sean. You can keep filming this bit because this bit's funny.
We're going.
Remember when Sean was a heel, I kept telling him you need a closing line, and he's just kind of giggity because he says giggity a lot. We once went to his brother's. We once went to Sean's brother's wedding, and he walked past me and my wife, looked at my wife, and just went giggity. It freaked my wife out, and I was like, "Calm down, it's Sean. It's Sean. Guess what he does." Yeah, but he said giggity. Like, it's okay, it's Sean. But no, I kept telling. How good a closing line would this have been for Sean? And you can take that to the bank. Just those lines. You know what I mean? You can take that to the bank because you know his money, Sterling Oil.
Yeah, Sterling Oil. Yeah, it makes sense.
I've tried to get you and Archer to do what for years? What have I tried you guys to get to do for you? Right? If you've ever seen Biker Boys with Kid Rock, it's basically Fast and Furious with motorbikes. Awful movie. But all the biker boys, they're like, they put their hand up and have to go down and go. That's what they do. I've tried to get you guys to do it for years.
You tried it that one show we did it. I can't remember what it was. With a 6-man. Inverurie, that was it.
Yeah.
You go out, you're like, yeah. And my arch was like, all right. All right.
Did you do it? I can't remember. You did it. But no, I remember saying, Archer, you got to put your hand up, got to do that. And you just ignore me. This is what I'm talking about. This is the advice I'm trying to give you guys. And you're just disrespecting me. You know what I mean? Try to give you good stuff. I've said to Archer as well, Archer, your name's Chris Archer. He's like, yeah. So why don't you do that? Like with a bow. You're Chris Archer. He's like, yeah. And he walks away, never does it. And who's fucking doing it now? Who's doing it now? The boy with the hair in WWE and Raw. He's doing it. He's feuding with Sheamus. What's his name? He's big. He teamed with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. The boy who teamed with Bad Bunny. Sound like you. I don't watch WWE much now either. But the guy who played, because he's playing a character. the guy who teamed with Bad Bunny and took on the Miz and Morrison. Is his last name Archer? No, but he does it now.
Lance Archer?
No. He's AEW. He's in that small independent company. He's what's his name? He's good. He's good, and he's got a lot of respect from the guys backstage. He is good. Watch Raw on Sunday morning on Sky. But he does that now, and guess what? They do the CGI, right? They do the CGI with it, and they have an arrow firing. Yeah, that's what they do with it. It's so cool.
We didn't have that budget at Wrestlezone.
I know, but I came up with that idea, you know, and Archer could have been doing it way before him and claimed copyright, could have made money from it.
Yeah.
You know there's going to be a biker gang in the next 5 years going to be doing that, coming down to the ring. You know there's going to be an next. You're going to be like, damn.
Aces and Eights did it years ago.
Did they do that?
Aces and Eights, and what was the other one?
DOA, Disciples of
DOA, that was it.
Yeah, but they never did that.
I'm sure they must have thrown one in somewhere.
No, they would have. They're probably. I think they were a bunch of racists. Those ones. They just look like they're, you know, from the south. You know, trust me. I've been to South Carolina. I know what I'm talking about. You know, but yeah, I'm sure they did that. No, right. Try to think of what other advice have I given people that they've just never listened to. Disrespect. I think that's about it. Yeah. Anyway,
so with
that's
that,
good. When the lesson begins, when the bell rings, your lesson begins.
Yeah.
You can take that to the bank. I can't remember if I had any other closing lines.
Just this.
I once did a promo where I stole a line from Meatloaf, and it was, "I'm a runaway train on a broken track. I'm a ticker on a bomb that you can't turn back. That's right. I'm still alive." You know,
I remember that one.
Yeah, when the end of the world comes tumbling down, I'll be the last one standing underground, as long as I'm still alive. I did that promo.
In fact, that was the one that was filmed.
Yeah, so you remember it, right? It's from a Meatloaf song, "Alive," right? I did it a second time without knowing. So a few months later, I did the same promo, and Archer's like, "You've already done that one." What do you mean? It's like, no, you've already done that. No, I haven't. That's the first time. I think you've done that match. I think you've done that promo before, Dave. So I forgot I'd done it. I did it a second time. So I think I refilmed it. But there you go. I forget my own pro. Not that my promos are the same, mind you. They're all completely different. Okay, anyway, I've just got a text from my wife saying too loud, too late. So I'm keeping my wife up. So we better wrap it up there.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up because Mrs. Patterson's telling us to shut up now.
Yeah, that's it. Promos are too late.
Again, this has been another episode of the Mickey's Mosh Pit. Thanks to my guest this week. It's Mr. P.
Thank you, man. No, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Yeah. I've enjoyed it. I've finished my 2 beer. I've had a good time.
That's enough.
Thank you very much.
Time for bed.
Brilliant. No, but thanks again, man. Appreciate it. And I'll probably see you next Wednesday.
Probably, yeah. Wednesdays for life.
All right.